The Lesser Key of Solomon, a demon summoning manual, or something far more, but what if its true secrets have been hidden in plain sight for centuries? Could this grimoire be a tool for self-discovery, not just the conjuring of demons? For centuries, the Lesser Key has stood as a monument to the forbidden arts, a grimoire promising power over demonic entities. Within its pages, elaborate rituals detail the precise methods for summoning and commanding these spirits, outlining intricate preparations, complex incantations, and the forging of magical tools. Yet, despite its notoriety and enduring influence, a profound mystery shrouds its origins. Who truly penned this text, and what was their ultimate intention? Was it merely a practical guide for medieval demonologists, or does it conceal a far deeper wisdom, a symbolic key to unlocking the hidden chambers of the self? Imagine for a moment that the demons of the Lesser Key are not external entities to be feared and subjugated, but rather representations of our own inner landscape. What if Baal, Payman, and the other Godic spirits are, in fact, personifications of psychological forces, aspects of the unconscious mind yearning to be understood and integrated? This is the central premise we will explore, that the Lesser Key of Solomon, far from being a literal manual for demon summoning, is a sophisticated system of symbolic psychology, a tool for navigating the complexities of the human psyche and achieving personal transformation. Within the pages of the Lesser Key lies a wealth of recurring patterns and symbolism, geometric sigils, planetary correspondences, hierarchical structures, all hinting at a deeper, more profound meaning. Could these patterns be the key to unlocking the grimoire's true purpose, revealing its connection to other esoteric traditions such as Kabbalah, Hermeticism, and the magical practices of the Renaissance? The influence of these traditions is undeniable, and the careful observer can detect their echoes within the text's structure, symbolism, and underlying philosophy. The Lesser Key of Solomon's enduring legacy extends far beyond the dusty shelves of occult libraries. Its influence can be seen in modern ceremonial magic, gracing the works of prominent occultists and permeating popular culture. From fiction and film to video games and contemporary art, the images and ideas presented in the Lesser Key continue to capture the imagination, testament to its power. But the true significance of the Lesser Key lies not in its cultural impact, but in its potential to unlock profound personal growth and self-awareness. Imagine the impact of truly understanding the forces at play within your own psyche. By confronting and integrating the shadow self, those repressed or denied aspects of our personality, we can move towards psychological wholeness and achieve greater self-mastery. The limitations of a purely literal interpretation of the Lesser Key become apparent when we consider the potential for fear, paranoia, and misunderstanding that such an approach can engender. A more nuanced, symbolic understanding, however, can unlock new levels of insight and personal transformation. Throughout this exploration, we will delve into the core themes of transformation, self-discovery, and the integration of light and darkness. The Lesser Key, properly understood, is not about battling demons, but about understanding and integrating the forces of the unconscious. It's about embracing both the light and the dark aspects of the self in order to achieve wholeness, recognizing that both are necessary for a complete and balanced existence. Grimoires, like the Lesser Key, emerged from a specific historical context, the vibrant intellectual and spiritual landscape of the Renaissance. These books, filled with spells, rituals, and magical formulas, reflected the era's fascination with hidden knowledge and the power of the human will. Renaissance magicians believed in the interconnectedness of all things, seeking to harness the forces of nature and the cosmos through ritual and ceremony. It is within this worldview that we can begin to interpret the concept of demons not as malevolent entities, but as psychological forces. The word demon originally referred to a guiding spirit, an inner voice that could provide wisdom and inspiration. It was only later, with the rise of Christianity, that demons became associated with evil and damnation. We will be using demon in its original form. This sets the stage for a Jungian interpretation, where these demons are not external beings, but rather archetypal energies residing within the unconscious mind, awaiting recognition and integration. Our journey will encompass several key areas: historical analysis, symbolic interpretation, and practical application. We will examine the historical origins of the Lesser Key, tracing its evolution and identifying its key influences. We will then decode its symbolic language, unlocking the hidden meanings embedded within its sigils, rituals, and correspondences. Finally, we will offer guidance on how to use this knowledge for personal transformation, providing practical techniques for meditation, self-reflection, and shadow work. But who actually wrote the Lesser Key, and what were their motivations? Were the rituals designed for external manipulation or internal transformation? Did the authors seek to control demonic forces, or were they, perhaps, exploring the depths of their own unconscious minds? We must ask ourselves, what secrets does this text hold, and why have they been so carefully concealed for centuries? Prepare yourself, seeker, for the answers contained within are about to challenge your assumptions and expand your understanding. We will unlock the ancient secrets held within sigils, reveal the hidden connections between correspondences, and demystify ritual structures that will offer insights that will empower you. The sigil of Baal, for instance, with its intricate lines and geometric shapes, may hold the key to understanding leadership qualities, both their positive and negative manifestations. Similarly, the planetary correspondence of Mars, with its association with aggression and passion, can shed light on the fiery forces that drive human action. We will learn how to harness those forces for positive change. In the sections that follow, prepare to learn practical techniques and gain invaluable insights that will help you apply this knowledge to your own life. Discover how the Lesser Key can be used as a powerful tool for meditation, self-reflection, and shadow work. Embrace the opportunity to integrate the demons into your personality, harnessing their power for positive change, and ultimately moving toward a more complete and integrated self. So let us begin our journey by examining the complex question: what is the true origin of the Lesser Key of Solomon? But who truly was behind the creation of the Lesser Key of Solomon? Was it, as legend suggests, the wise King Solomon himself, channeling divine knowledge to control the forces of darkness? Or does the truth lie shrouded in the mists of later centuries, woven by many hands across the tapestry of time? Despite the allure of the Solomon myth, a more realistic picture emerges when we examine the historical evidence, or perhaps more accurately, the lack of it. While the text claims Solomonic authorship, scholars widely agree that the grimoire, in its current form, couldn't have originated with the biblical king. Its language, structure, and content reflect a much later period, likely sometime in the mid-17th century, but this realization only deepens the mystery. If not Solomon, then who? It is far more likely the Lesser Key is a collection of works by various authors compiled over time. To understand the enigma of the Lesser Key's authorship, we must first grasp the historical evolution of grimoires themselves. These books, filled with spells, rituals, and magical formulas, served as repositories of esoteric knowledge, passed down through generations of practitioners. Think of them as the ancient internet, where the data is often suspect. From ancient Egypt to the medieval Europe, grimoires preserved the wisdom, and sometimes the folly, of magicians, alchemists, and occultists. Consider the Picatrix, an 11th century grimoire of astrological magic, or the Ars Goetia, a later text that shares striking similarities with the Lesser Key. These books weren't created in a vacuum. They drew upon existing traditions, adapted ancient practices, and reflected the unique beliefs and practices of their time. The Ars Goetia, in particular, would later become the first book of the Lesser Key, illustrating a key point. The Lesser Key is not a singular, original work, but rather a compilation of texts that evolved over time. To truly appreciate the environment from which the Lesser Key arose, it's vital to recognize the intellectual and cultural forces at play during the Renaissance. This was a period of intellectual ferment, marked by a rediscovery of classical learning, a surge of humanism, and a renewed fascination with magic and the occult. The Renaissance magicians sought to understand the hidden connections between all things, to harness the powers of nature, and to unlock the secrets of the cosmos. Figures like Marsilio Ficino, Pico della Mirandola, and Giordano Bruno, all deeply engaged with magic and esoteric philosophy, exemplify this trend. Magic was not seen as separate from intellectual pursuit. It was, in fact, a means of understanding the universe and one's place within it. With this understanding, could this grimoire be hiding keys to unlock a deeper understanding of self? Now, let's turn to another vital question. Could the Kabbalah, the mystical tradition of Judaism, have exerted a hidden influence on the lesser key? While the text is often viewed as a product of Christian demonology, a closer examination reveals tantalizing hints of Kabbalistic symbolism and cosmology woven into its fabric. Think of the Kabbalah as the hidden ingredient in a seemingly familiar recipe, adding depth and complexity to the overall flavor. Despite its obvious Christian influences, we must consider the possibility of a rich tradition that was far more diverse than it has been given credit for. Consider the Sefer Yetzirah, an ancient Kabbalistic text that describes the creation of the universe through the manipulation of Hebrew letters. Is it possible this text served as inspiration of influence for the creation of the sigils found within the key? Kabbalists viewed the 10 Sephirot as emanations of the divine, each representing a different aspect of God's being and a different stage in the creation process. The Tree of Life, with its intricate network of interconnected spheres, provides a map of consciousness, a framework for understanding the relationship between the divine and the human. What if the Godic demons are not simply malevolent entities, but rather representations of imbalances or distortions within these divine emanations? Imagine Baal, for instance, as a corrupted form of Keter, the crown symbolizing leadership turned to tyranny, or Asmodeus, connected to Jevura, representing power unleashed without restraint, becoming destructive. By mapping the demons onto the Sephirot, we gain a new perspective on their nature and their role in the cosmic drama. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. The geometric patterns of the sigils themselves might hold hidden Kabbalistic codes. Could they be derived from Hebrew letters or from other Kabbalistic symbols? Perhaps these sigils are not merely arbitrary designs, but potent visual keys to unlocking deeper levels of understanding, lying dormant within the text, awaiting the discerning eye to recognize them. But let's push this idea even further, daring to ask, what if these demons are not external entities at all, but rather aspects of our own inner landscape? Here we arrive at a Jungian interpretation of demonolatry, where the demons of the lesser key become psychological archetypes, forces residing within the unconscious mind. Carl Jung, the renowned Swiss psychiatrist, theorized that the human psyche is composed of various archetypes, universal patterns of behavior and experience that shape our thoughts, emotions, and actions. The shadow self, that hidden aspect of our personality that contains repressed or denied qualities, can manifest as demonic forces in the psyche. Consider Lucifer, often associated with pride and rebellion, but also with the human will to knowledge and the pursuit of enlightenment. In this context, Lucifer represents the shadow aspects of our own desire for self-determination, the potential for hubris, and the dangers of unchecked ambition. Or take Lilith, the archetypal dark feminine, representing repressed female sexuality and the fear of the feminine. And let's not forget Beelzebub, the Lord of the Flies, connected to gluttony, consumption, and the shadow aspects of our material desires. So, what happens when one undertakes demonolatry? What if demonolatry is actually a symbolic method for confronting and integrating the shadow self, leading to personal transformation and psychological wholeness? The very act of invoking a demon can be interpreted as a conscious acknowledgement and acceptance of a particular aspect of the unconscious. By working with these demons, we can learn to understand and manage our own destructive impulses and negative emotions, but we're just scratching the surface. What we'll discover next is even more shocking. Consider the implications of using the sigils and invocations of the Decodic demons as tools for meditation and self-reflection. By meditating on the sigil of a particular demon, we can explore its corresponding psychological trait, gaining insight into our own shadow self. Journaling prompts and shadow work exercises related to the demons of the lesser key can further facilitate this process of integration. So I ask you, what demons do you struggle with every day? Is it procrastination? Is it sloth? Now, how can you reframe these personal demons into qualities that propel you toward your goals? How can these dark forces push you toward the light? As we continue our journey, we'll delve into practical techniques and insights that will help you apply this knowledge to your own life. But what if the true key to unlocking the mysteries of the lesser key of Solomon lies not in the names of demons, but in the stars themselves? The concept of planetary correspondences suggests that each demon is intrinsically linked to a specific planet, and that this relationship dictates the demon's nature, powers, and influence. But are these associations arbitrary, or do they stem from a deeper understanding of cosmic forces? Planetary correspondences were no mere afterthought. They were a fundamental aspect of Renaissance magic and cosmology, as integral to the worldview of the time as the four elements and the humors of the body. The Hermetic principle of as above, so below provides a crucial framework for understanding these correspondences. This principle posits that the macrocosm, the universe, and the microcosm, the human being, are interconnected, and that the patterns and energies of the cosmos are reflected in the individual psyche. Therefore, the planets, as celestial bodies, are believed to exert a direct influence on earthly affairs and on the inner workings of the human mind. But how can we truly grasp the nature of this influence? To truly grasp the nuances of planetary influence, we must understand the traditional astrological attributes of each of the 7 classical planets: Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. The Sun, for example, is associated with vitality, leadership, and self-expression, but also with egoism and pride. The Moon governs emotions, intuition, and the subconscious, yet can also be tied to instability and illusion. Mars, the red planet, embodies aggression, passion, and war, but also courage, energy, and assertiveness. Venus, shimmering in the night sky, relates to love, beauty, harmony, and pleasure, but also vanity, indulgence, and superficiality. What happens when we truly consider the energies we are tapping into with these planets? Let's now turn to how specific demons in the lesser key are linked to their corresponding planets. Asmodeus, for example, is strongly associated with Mars, reflecting his destructive and aggressive nature. Astaroth, on the other hand, is linked to Venus, highlighting her association with love, beauty, and sexuality, but also with trickery and deception. Zephyr, another demon linked to Venus, demonstrates this planet's association with inciting love and lust. But what happens when we apply these energies to the demons of the lesser key? If we consider that the sigils may act as visual keys to unlocking the planetary energies associated with each demon, can we decode them further? Examining the sigils of Mars-ruled demons, we might find sharp angles, arrow-like shapes, or even the symbol of Mars itself, subtly embedded within the design. These sigils, then, could be seen as visual representations of the planetary forces at play. But is it safe to presume such connections? However, before we rush headlong into invoking planetary forces, it's crucial to consider the ethical implications. Working with these energies can be a double-edged sword, and it's essential to approach them with respect and understanding. Working with Mars-ruled demons without proper understanding and control can lead to aggression, impulsiveness, and destructive behavior. But consider the potential for harnessing the positive aspects of Mars for courage, motivation, and achieving goals. It's also possible to fall under the sway of Venus-ruled demons and succumb to vanity, addiction, and harmful indulgences. But equally possible is harnessing the positive aspects of Venus for finding love, peace, beauty, and tranquility. But where do we draw the line between ethical and unethical practice? But let's dare to reframe planetary magic as a tool for self-transformation, a method for aligning oneself with the cosmic forces and developing specific qualities or abilities. What if it isn't about summoning demons, but about summoning the energies within ourselves? Working with Jupiterian energies can help to cultivate wisdom, generosity, and leadership skills. Aligning oneself with Saturnian energies can help to develop discipline, patience, and the ability to overcome obstacles. So, how can we harness these forces for personal growth? For instance, consider a meditation technique for invoking the energies of Mars. Visualize a red light filling your body, listen to martial music, and repeat affirmations of courage and strength. Or, consider creating a talisman charged with the energies of Venus, using rose quartz, green candles, and affirmations of love and beauty. Are we truly limited by the traditional interpretations of these techniques? The planetary correspondences in the lesser key, then, are not merely astrological assignments, but symbolic representations of the energies and qualities that exist within the human psyche and the cosmos. Each planet represents a different facet of human experience, and by working with the demons associated with those planets, we can learn to understand and integrate those aspects into our personality. This is where Jung's archetypes come into play. These energies can be connected to the archetypes we discussed earlier, uniting Jungian psychology with astrological principles. But what lies beyond this point of synthesis? We can use planetary magic as a tool for personal growth, self-awareness, and a deeper connection to the universe. But we're just scratching the surface. What we'll discover next is even more shocking. As we delve into the practical applications of specific demons in daily life, furthering our exploration of self-transformation. This discussion has far more practical applications than mere intellectual stimulation, and so it may be useful to transition into the realm of application, from theory to practicality. With that, let us consider a Godic bestiary, a field guide not to literal demons, but to the archetypal forces they represent. We can now shift from theoretical knowledge to actionable insights. But how might we begin creating such a field guide? Think of it this way. Traditionally, a bestiary is a catalog of animals, both real and mythical, each entry offering insight into the creature's nature and symbolism. Our Godic bestiary serves a similar purpose, acting as a compilation of demons from the lesser key of Solomon. The goal isn't to command or control these forces, but to understand their nature and harness their potential for personal growth. But what would a useful entry in this bestiary include? Each demon profile will contain key elements: name, rank, planetary correspondence, psychological traits, sigil analysis, and practical applications. We'll begin with a brief overview of the demon's traditional attributes and powers, as described in the lesser key. Then, we'll delve into the demon's psychological significance, exploring the traits and qualities it represents. But remember, this is just a starting point. These interpretations are subjective, open to individual understanding. The goal isn't to provide definitive answers, but to offer a springboard for personal exploration. Question the assumptions, challenge the interpretations, and form your own conclusions based on your experiences. But where do we begin? Let's start with Baal. Baal, the first demon in our Godic bestiary, is traditionally a king ruling in the east, commanding legions of spirits. He's described as appearing as a man, cat, toad, or some combination thereof, sometimes all at once. Baal can make men invisible and wise, and is said to be able to grant riches and honor. But what could this possibly mean in the context of self-transformation? Baal's planetary correspondence is the sun. The sun represents leadership, authority, and visibility, but also egoism and pride. It represents the ego and the conscious mind. What if Baal is a representation of the ego's potential for both good and evil? Baal, then, can be interpreted as an archetype of leadership and authority. He represents our capacity for self-mastery and the ability to influence others. He embodies both positive leadership qualities, confidence, decisiveness, and vision, and negative qualities, arrogance, tyranny, and manipulation. But what does this mean for you? Could Baal represent the individual's shadow self, embodying the aspects of leadership and authority that are repressed or denied? What if you are too passive, and this demon is a key to unleashing a more assertive you? What if you are too aggressive, and working with Baal is a key to restraining that aggression? Now, consider Baal's sigil. The circular shape of the sigil suggests a connection to the sun and the cycle of life. The lines and angles within the sigil represent Baal's power and authority. Are there other solar symbols subtly embedded in Baal's sigil? What hidden Kabbalistic influences might be at play? How can we work with Baal as a psychological archetype? Try this, a meditation technique for connecting with Baal's positive qualities of leadership and confidence. Visualize a golden light emanating from the sun, filling you with a sense of self-assurance and inner strength. Now, let's consider some journaling prompts. What is your relationship to authority, both internal and external? Where do you feel confident and assertive? Where do you feel hesitant and insecure? How can you harness Baal to be assertive when establishing boundaries? But are there limits to Baal's gifts? Now, let's introduce Asmodeus, a contrasting example to Baal. Asmodeus is associated with wrath, passion, destruction, and earthly pleasures. But how does this differ from Baal's gifts of leadership? Asmodeus is traditionally depicted as a creature with fiery breath, riding a dragon or an ass. He is associated with gambling, lust, and other vices. What if we reframe these negative attributes as the energies of raw passion and destruction? Asmodeus' planetary correspondence is Mars, connecting him to the planet's qualities of aggression, passion, and war. Mars represents the primal drives and instincts, but what if we can learn to channel these drives? Asmodeus can be seen as a representation of the destructive potential of these drives. He can be interpreted as an archetype of repressed anger, uncontrolled passion, and destructive impulses. But is this potential inherently negative? Asmodeus can represent both the negative consequences of suppressing anger, resentment, bitterness, and self-destruction, and the dangers of acting out anger in destructive ways. He embodies the parts of ourselves that we are afraid to acknowledge or express. So, what do we do with this knowledge? Let's examine Asmodeus' sigil. The sharp angles and jagged lines suggest a connection to aggression and violence. The overall shape of the sigil represents Asmodeus' destructive power. But is that all it represents? How can we work with Asmodeus as a psychological archetype? Instead of suppressing our anger, can we express it in safe and constructive ways? Consider shadow work exercises for confronting repressed anger and identifying its root causes. But how do we do that? Try using creative outlets, painting, music, or writing to express anger in a healthy way. Or use Asmodeus' energy to fuel productive activities that require a lot of passion, such as working out or starting a business. Can we transform destructive impulses into positive action? So, what have we learned from Baal and Asmodeus? Leadership and authority, like anger and passion, can be used for both good and evil. The key is to develop self-awareness and self-control. Can you see yourself doing that? The lesser key can be a tool for personal growth and self-understanding. By integrating the shadow self and harnessing the power of the unconscious, we can transform ourselves. But we're just scratching the surface. What demons do you struggle with every day? What's next? We will continue to expand our Decoding bestiary, exploring further demons and their practical applications in daily life. But we must also consider the ethical implications of this kind of demon work and how to protect ourselves from the negative aspects of these demons. But are you ready to confront them? Let us now turn our attention to Lilith, a figure who stands as a prominent and enigmatic figure in demonology. Across various cultures and traditions, Lilith is recognized as a powerful queen of the night, associated with female power and sexuality, both of which have been, throughout history, sources of fear and repression. But is Lilith truly a monstrous figure, or is she a symbol of something far more complex? Consider Lilith's origin story, Adam's first wife, who refused to submit to him and was cast out of Eden. Or consider her association with infanticide and her role as a seductress of men. These depictions paint a picture of a dangerous and destructive force, but could there be a deeper meaning behind these symbols? What if Lilith represents something that patriarchal societies have long sought to suppress? Lilith's planetary correspondence is the moon, and just as the moon reflects the sun, this connects her to lunar qualities of intuition, emotion, the unconscious, and the cyclical nature of life and death. The moon represents the feminine principle, the hidden aspects of the psyche, the depths of the unknown, the ebb and flow of life. Lilith embodies the untamed and potentially dangerous aspects of these lunar energies. She is the dark side of the moon, the shadow feminine. Is this darkness inherently evil, or does it hold a necessary power? From a psychological perspective, Lilith stands as an archetype of female empowerment, repressed sexuality, and the shadow aspects of the feminine. Lilith can represent both the positive qualities of female strength, independence, and sexual liberation, and the negative qualities of rage, vengefulness, and destructive sexuality. In this way, she echoes Jung's concept of the anima, the unconscious feminine side of a man's psyche, and the animus, the unconscious masculine side of a woman's psyche. Can Lilith serve as a key to unlocking the unconscious and integrating its hidden aspects? Lilith embodies the parts of women that have been historically repressed or denied by patriarchal societies, and she represents the potential for women to reclaim their power and autonomy. In this way, she represents men's fear of female sexuality and their inability to relate to women as equals. Is it possible that by confronting Lilith, we can begin to heal the wounds of the past and create a more balanced future? Now, let us analyze Lilith's sigil. At first glance, the sigil appears serpentine. The crescent shape of the sigil suggests a connection to the moon and the feminine principle, while the lines and curves within the sigil can be interpreted as representations of Lilith's seductive power and her association with the serpent. What hidden meanings are embedded within these symbols? What deeper connections might there be to lunar symbols, geometric patterns, and Kabbalistic influences? How can we work with Lilith as a psychological archetype? For women, perhaps this involves reclaiming repressed sexuality and embracing their independence. For men, perhaps this involves exploring their anima projections onto women and confronting their fears of female power. Through meditation, journaling, and shadow work, we can connect with Lilith's energy and integrate her qualities into our own lives. Can these techniques help us to reclaim our repressed sexuality and embrace female power? Let's explore shadow work exercises to understand why the traits that Lilith embodies may be difficult to come to terms with. What societal pressures have contributed to the suppression of sexuality and the rigid enforcement of gender roles? By confronting these issues, we can begin to liberate ourselves from the limitations of the past and embrace a more authentic and empowered future. Can the reclamation of repressed sexuality lead to new heights of personal and collective liberation? Having explored Lilith as an archetype, we must consider the ethical considerations of engaging with figures from the Godic tradition. It's essential to approach this work with respect, caution, and a strong ethical framework. What might happen if we engage with this Godic energy without proper preparation and ethical consideration? The potential dangers of working with demons must be acknowledged, emphasizing the importance of understanding the symbolism and psychological significance of the demons before attempting to work with them. This work requires clear intentions and a sense of personal responsibility. The goal should be self-transformation, not the manipulation of others. Is it possible that, by seeking to manipulate others, we are simply projecting our own desires and fears onto the world? Each practitioner must take full responsibility for the consequences of their actions and intentions. Before engaging in any Godic practice, ask yourself whether your actions are aligned with your values and whether they are causing harm to yourself or others. Can we truly separate our intentions from their consequences? we must be aware of our own biases and prejudices and strive to understand the demons as archetypal forces rather than as literal entities. Techniques for identifying and working with one's own projections, such as journaling, meditation, and shadow work, are crucial. Are we capable of truly seeing these demons for what they are, or are we forever trapped within the confines of our own perceptions? To ensure safe and ethical practice, create a sacred space or ritual circle for protection during Godic work. Use visualization techniques and affirmations to strengthen one's boundaries and maintain control. Integrate the lessons learned from Godic work into one's daily life, rather than simply engaging in ritual practices. By grounding our experiences in the real world, we can avoid the pitfalls of delusion and self-deception. Is there a risk of inflating one's ego or becoming overly identified with the powers and qualities of the demons? How can we maintain a balanced and grounded perspective? Seek guidance from experienced practitioners or therapists to maintain a balanced and grounded perspective. The path of self-discovery can be treacherous, and it is wise to seek the counsel of those who have walked it before. Is it possible to truly know ourselves without the help of others? Having explored these demons and the ethical considerations of Godic work, we can appreciate the transformative potential of working with the Godic demons as psychological archetypes, emphasizing the possibility of achieving greater self-awareness, personal power, and psychological wholeness through this practice. Can you see yourself approaching it in this way? Through this work, we can integrate the shadow self, reclaim repressed qualities, and develop a more balanced and integrated personality. By embracing both the light and the dark aspects of ourselves, we can achieve true wholeness. The demons are not inherently evil, but they embody the potential for both good and evil. The key is to develop the wisdom and self-control to harness their power for positive change. Are you ready to embrace your own shadow? By embracing our own shadows, we acknowledge our own destructive impulses and find constructive ways to express and integrate these aspects of ourselves. In this way, we come closer to the integration of light and darkness within ourselves, a necessary step on the path to individual and collective wholeness. Is it our destiny to merge darkness and light into a single, unified force? As we have seen, the Lesser Key of Solomon is not just a literal guide to demon summoning, but a symbolic representation of inner psychological forces and a system for self-exploration. But we're just scratching the surface. What awaits us as we delve deeper into the mysteries of the Godic tradition? How can we use this knowledge to transform ourselves and the world around us? In future videos, we will delve deeper into the practical applications of Godic work, exploring specific rituals, meditations, and techniques for working with the demons of the Lesser Key in a safe and ethical way. We will provide detailed instructions for creating a sacred space, invoking the demons, and integrating their energies into one's daily life. But before we embark on this journey, we must first address a fundamental question. Are the demons real entities or simply products of the human imagination? The answer, as we shall see, is far more complex than it appears. And what of other demons, such as Beelzebub, Vine, and the many others that haunt the pages of the Lesser Key? The journey continues, fellow seekers, as we seek the light. Having explored Lilith and her embodiment of repressed female sexuality, independence, and the shadow feminine, we turn now to another figure of immense power and complexity, Beelzebub. Often depicted as a lord of flies or a demonic figure surrounded by swarms, Beelzebub stands as a symbol of decay, disease, and perhaps most insidiously, the corruption of power. But is Beelzebub merely a symbol of filth and degradation, or does his story offer a deeper insight into the temptations that plague even the most ambitious among us? And what can his connection to the celestial realm of Jupiter possibly signify? Consider Beelzebub's origins, his name echoing through history from the Philistine god Baal-zebub, a deity propitiated to ward off the very flies that spread disease. This syncretic nature, where pagan gods are demonized and absorbed into the Judeo-Christian pantheon, speaks to the ever-shifting landscape of belief and the human tendency to fear what is not understood. Beelzebub's association with flies, symbols of corruption and swarming chaos, paints a grim picture, yet even within this darkness lies a strange allure. What is it about the promise of power, even power derived from unsavory sources, that continues to captivate the human imagination? What is the connection between filth and power? Beelzebub's planetary correspondence offers a clue. Jupiter, the giant of our solar system, the planet of kings and empires. Jupiter represents authority, abundance, social status, and the expansive desire for recognition and influence. But Jupiter, in its shadow aspect, also embodies excess, corruption, and the abuse of power. Beelzebub, then, can be seen as the shadow side of Jupiterian energy, representing the insatiable hunger for worldly success at any cost, the willingness to compromise one's integrity in pursuit of earthly glory. Is this not the very essence of temptation, the promise of reward in exchange for one's soul? From a psychological perspective, Beelzebub emerges as an archetype representing the temptations of power, the dangers of unchecked ambition, and the seductive allure of material possessions. He embodies the parts of ourselves that are driven by ego gratification and the desire for external validation, the tendency to prioritize material wealth and social status over spiritual growth and ethical behavior. He is the whispering voice that tells us, "You deserve more," even when that more comes at the expense of others. What happens when these insidious desires are left unchecked and drive us toward ruin? Beelzebub represents the tendency to prioritize material wealth and social status over spiritual growth and ethical behavior, the prioritization of the external at the expense of the internal. Is this not the siren song of modern society, the relentless pursuit of consumerism and social media validation? What insidious ways do these modern temptations manifest, and how can one inoculate themselves against the temptations of ego? Now, let's analyze Beelzebub's sigil, a complex and ornate design that reflects his high status and his association with knowledge and wisdom, even if that wisdom is twisted or used for malevolent purposes. The sigil's intricate geometry hints at the complex web of influence and manipulation that Beelzebub weaves. Is it simply a decorative symbol, or does it hold a deeper meaning, a key to unlocking the archetype's power? Look closely. The various shapes and lines within the sigil can be interpreted as representations of Beelzebub's power to influence and manipulate others, to sow discord and corruption, and to tempt individuals to betray their own values. Does the design itself echo the influence and manipulation that it represents? And can it be utilized as a tool for overcoming these temptations? So how do we work with Beelzebub as a psychological archetype? First, understand that the aim is not to worship or appease this figure, but to confront and understand the temptations that he represents. This requires cultivating humility, resisting the allure of power, and seeking fulfillment through inner development rather than external validation. Can we learn to harness his energy for constructive purposes, such as asserting our boundaries or resisting manipulation? Consider a meditation technique. Confront one's own desire for recognition and influence, examining the roots of these desires and developing a more balanced and ethical approach to power. Journaling prompts can help explore one's relationship to material possessions, social status, and the pursuit of worldly success, challenging the assumptions that drive these desires. One might even harness Beelzebub to confront arrogance, using his energy to become more aware of one's shortcomings and the dangers of unchecked ego. Is it possible to transform Beelzebub from a tempter into a teacher? Having grappled with the individual psychological landscape of demons, such as Lilith and Beelzebub, let us now shift our focus from psychological interpretation to the historical context of the Lesser Key, emphasizing its use in ceremonial magic rituals and its profound influence on occult orders throughout history. How did these rituals, often steeped in elaborate symbolism and dramatic gestures, shape the practice of magic, and what can they tell us about the human relationship with the unseen? Consider the Golden Dawn, the influential occult order of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This order adapted Godic rituals, incorporating planetary correspondences and Kabbalistic symbolism into their practices. Similarly, Aleister Crowley, the infamous occultist, dedicated himself to extensive work with the Godic demons, attempting to systematize and codify their attributes and powers. These figures, though controversial, demonstrate the enduring fascination with the lesser key and its potential for both spiritual exploration and personal aggrandizement. What can we learn from their experiences, and how can we approach these rituals with greater wisdom and discernment? To understand the structure and symbolism of Godic rituals, examine the key elements: the construction of circles and triangles, the invocation of divine names, and the use of sigils and talismans. The magic circle serves as a protective barrier, a symbolic representation of the magician's will, creating a safe space for confronting powerful forces. Triangles, on the other hand, are used to contain and control the summoned demons, emphasizing the magician's power to command these forces. What does it mean to create these boundaries, and how do they reflect the psychological need for safety and control when engaging with the unconscious? Delving deeper, consider specific examples of Godic rituals from the Lesser Key, such as the summoning of Baal for knowledge and wisdom, or the invocation of Asmodeus for strength and courage. Each ritual involves meticulous preparations, from the selection of appropriate times and locations to the gathering of specific materials and tools. The ritual itself follows a precise sequence of steps, including incantations, gestures, and offerings designed to invoke the desired demon. Why are these elaborate preparations necessary, and what psychological effect do they have on the magician? And what are the true intentions behind summoning such demons? These elaborate rituals were not necessarily intended to summon a demon in the literal sense, but instead to invoke the qualities of the demon being invoked, in effect summoning the associated idea. This connects directly to shadow work, as the practitioner seeks to embody and integrate aspects of the unconscious that are often feared or repressed. The performance, the symbolism, and the focused intention all combine to create a powerful psychological experience. What happens when we view these rituals as tools for self-exploration rather than attempts at external manipulation? Is there still potential for genuine change? Building upon this idea, let us examine the Renaissance understanding of demons, which often differed significantly from the later, more negative interpretations. Renaissance magicians often viewed demons as intermediaries between humans and the divine, not necessarily as evil entities. Figures like Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa saw demons as complex beings with both positive and negative qualities, capable of assisting humans in their quest for knowledge and spiritual growth. How did this more nuanced view of demons influence the practice of magic in the Renaissance, and what does it tell us about the changing perceptions of good and evil? This perspective aligns with the broader Renaissance interest in Neoplatonism and Hermeticism, philosophical traditions that emphasize the interconnectedness of all things and the potential for humans to ascend to higher states of consciousness. Renaissance magicians used demonology as a tool for self-improvement, spiritual ascension, and the acquisition of knowledge and power. They invoked demons to gain access to their unique skills and abilities, such as healing, prophecy, or the manipulation of natural forces. Does this represent a more mature approach to demonology, one that values understanding and integration over fear and control? Can we truly learn from those we deem evil? Renaissance magicians may have viewed demons as symbolic representations of their own inner conflicts and personal demons, rather than external entities. This aligns with the concept of the inner alchemist, who seeks to transform the base metals of the personality into gold. Working with demons could be seen as a form of psychological alchemy, helping the magician to confront and integrate their own shadow self, transforming negative qualities into positive ones. How can we view these processes of transformation in a way that will assist us today? These historical examples show the wide range of interpretations and applications of the lesser key, highlighting its enduring appeal and its potential for both spiritual growth and ethical abuse. From the literal demon summoning of some practitioners to the psychological alchemy of others, the lesser key has served as a mirror reflecting the hopes, fears, and aspirations of those who have dared to explore its depths. But now that we have explored how the text has been utilized throughout history, we must ask, where are we going next? In order to synthesize these historical examples and their impact, let's explore how we can use these interpretations to transform ourselves today. What is the value of engaging with shadow work, and how do we know if our process is productive rather than destructive? Having established the value of engaging with shadow work, let us now turn to specific examples within the lesser key, each offering unique perspectives on the human psyche and the potential for self-transformation. What better way to illustrate this than by delving into the specific attributes and symbolism of individual demons, revealing their hidden meanings and practical applications? Consider Vine, for example, often depicted as a lion riding a black horse, holding a viper. Is this merely a bizarre image from a medieval grimoire, or does it hold a deeper symbolic significance? Vine is traditionally described as having the power to reveal hidden things, destroy walls, and build towers. He is a great king or earl, commanding legions of spirits. What is the connection between these seemingly disparate abilities, and how can we apply them to our own lives? Vine's planetary correspondence offers a crucial clue. Saturn, the planet of time, structure, limitations, and hidden knowledge. Saturn governs the subconscious and unconscious realms, the very depths of our minds where repressed memories and limiting beliefs reside. Vine's power to destroy walls, then, can be interpreted as the ability to break down the mental barriers, the Saturnian limits that prevent us from accessing our intuition and hidden knowledge. Is this not the key to unlocking our inner potential, the ability to dismantle the structures that hold us back? From a psychological perspective, Vine embodies the archetype of intuition, the ability to see beyond the surface and understand the underlying structures of reality. He represents the power to deconstruct limiting beliefs, a process that aligns with Jungian concepts of individuation, that is to say, the lifelong journey of becoming our true selves. Working with Vine, therefore, allows us to confront and dismantle the limiting beliefs that hinder our personal growth. But how can we harness this destructive power for constructive purposes? Consider Vine's sigil, a geometric pattern that, at first glance, may seem like an arbitrary design. But look closer. Do the sharp angles suggest his destructive capabilities, his ability to cut through illusions and expose hidden truths? Do the serpentine shapes reflect the viper he holds, representing the hidden knowledge that he guards? By focusing on this sigil in meditation, can we unlock the intuitive insights that Vine offers? To practically work with Vine's energy, consider incorporating meditation techniques that focus on developing intuition. Use Vine's sigil as a focal point, allowing its geometric patterns to stimulate your subconscious mind. Journaling prompts can help you identify and challenge your limiting beliefs, asking yourself, what walls have I built around myself? What hidden truths am I afraid to confront? Furthermore, one might harness Vine's energy to break down old habits and rebuild better ones, actively dismantling the structures that no longer serve you and constructing new towers of personal growth. Can you feel the shift within as you embody this demon's attributes? Having explored the individual power of Vine, let's now turn our attention to how modern occultists have engaged with the lesser key, adapting its practices and interpretations for contemporary spiritual and psychological needs. How have figures like Aleister Crowley and S. L. MacGregor Mathers shaped our understanding of these ancient texts, and what can we learn from their approaches? Aleister Crowley, for instance, incorporated the Gosha into his system of the lemma, viewing the demons not as literal entities to be commanded, but as symbolic representations of inner forces to be understood and integrated. S. L. MacGregor Mathers played a crucial role in translating and popularizing the Lesser Key, bringing its secrets to a wider audience. How did these figures, with their unique perspectives and methodologies, transform the practice of demonolatry? And what can we glean from their experiences? Modern practitioners often view demons less as external entities to be commanded and more as forces within the human psyche, archetypal energies that can be harnessed for self-knowledge and personal transformation. This approach aligns with Jungian psychology and shadow work, emphasizing the idea of integrating the shadow self, the parts of ourselves that we often reject or deny. How can demons, traditionally seen as malevolent beings, actually lead to greater self-understanding and wholeness? Is this not the ultimate paradox, finding light in the darkness? Consider the ethical frameworks employed by modern occultists when working with the Lesser Key. What safeguards do they put in place to protect themselves and others from harm? Intention, responsibility, and the avoidance of manipulation or coercion are paramount. Techniques for protecting oneself from unwanted influences during rituals are often employed, emphasizing the importance of aligning one's actions with their values. But how do we ensure that our intentions are pure and that we are not simply projecting our own desires and fears onto these symbolic figures? Modern occultists often combine traditional demonological concepts with psychological theories, creating a unique approach to self-understanding and personal transformation. Archetypal psychology, for example, helps us understand the demons as universal patterns of human experience, recurring motifs that shape our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. The practice of shadow work can then lead to greater self-acceptance and wholeness, integrating the disowned parts of ourselves and unlocking hidden potential. Can this integration truly lead to wholeness? Therefore, we must ask, is the Lesser Key a literal guide to demon summoning, or is it something far more profound? A rich tapestry of symbols that can be interpreted on multiple levels, offering insights into the human psyche and the path to self-transformation. Connecting this to the broader field of symbolic thought, from mythology to art to dreams, we can see that symbols serve as keys to unlocking deeper levels of understanding and insight. But what makes these particular symbols so potent? As we've seen, Jungian archetypes provide a powerful framework for understanding the demons of the Lesser Key as universal patterns of human experience, forces that shape our inner world and influence our interactions with the external world. The shadow, the anima, animus, and the self are key archetypes that relate to the demons of the Lesser Key, each offering unique opportunities for self-discovery and integration. What happens when we begin to view these demons not as external entities, but as reflections of our own inner landscape? And what are the implications for our personal growth? The sigils, those intricate geometric designs associated with each demon, serve as visual keys to unlocking their energies and qualities. These shapes and patterns can trigger specific associations and emotions in the subconscious mind, activating specific aspects of the psyche. These sigils are not merely arbitrary designs, but potent symbols that can activate specific aspects of the psyche, allowing practitioners to access and integrate these forces into their own lives. What is it about these particular designs that makes them so effective? And how can we use them to tap into the transformative potential of the Lesser Key? Synthesizing these ideas, we can see that the combination of symbolic interpretation, archetypal psychology, and sigil magic can be used as a powerful tool for self-discovery, shadow integration, and personal transformation. We must view the demons of the Lesser Key not as external entities to be feared, but as inner forces to be understood and integrated, embracing the transformative potential of its symbolism. What common misconceptions might arise when using this demon work? what other applications may be available. Having glimpsed the potential for transformation through the integration of shadow aspects, let us now turn our attention to another figure within the Lesser Key, a figure whose influence permeates every facet of our daily interactions. Fornius, the great Marquis, demon of rhetoric and communication. Is Fornius merely a purveyor of persuasive speech, or does his dominion extend to the very foundations of human connection and understanding? What hidden powers lie dormant within this enigmatic figure? Fornius, as the grimoires describe, commands 29 legions of spirits, granting individuals the knowledge of languages, rhetoric, and the favor of both friends and foes. He bestows a good name upon those who seek his aid, fostering love and admiration. But what does it truly mean to have a good name? Is it simply a matter of reputation, or does it signify something far more profound? The ability to communicate one's authentic self to the world. And how can we harness Fornius's gifts to achieve this? Consider Fornius's planetary correspondence. Mercury, the fleet-footed messenger of the gods, the planet of communication, intelligence, and adaptability. Mercury governs language, writing, learning, and all forms of information exchange. Does Fornius, then, represent the raw power of persuasive speech and effective communication, the ability to influence and inspire through the artful use of language? Is this not the key to navigating the complexities of human relationships and achieving success in both personal and professional endeavors? From a psychological perspective, Fornius embodies the archetype of effective communication, the ability to articulate one's thoughts and feelings clearly, persuasively, and responsibly. He represents the power to connect with others, to build bridges of understanding, and to foster harmony through the art of dialogue. Working with Fornius, therefore, allows us to develop confidence, charisma, and the ability to inspire others with our words. But how can we access this wellspring of eloquence and influence? Observe Fornius's sigil, a geometric design that seems to vibrate with the energy of communication. Do the flowing lines suggest the ease and fluidity of speech, the ability to express oneself effortlessly and articulately? Do the symmetrical shapes reflect the balance and harmony that are essential for effective communication and healthy relationships? By meditating upon this sigil, can we unlock the hidden potential within ourselves to become masters of language and persuasion? To practically work with Fornius's energy, consider incorporating exercises that focus on developing your communication skills. Practice public speaking, engage in debates, and write regularly to improve your clarity and eloquence. Cultivate the art of active listening, paying close attention to the words, tone, and body language of others. By consciously honing these skills, can you not harness Fornius's gifts to improve your relationships, advance your career, and make a positive impact on the world? And in doing so, are we not transforming the very essence of this demon into a powerful catalyst for personal growth? Having explored the power of Fornius, let us now shift our focus from demons to familiars, those enigmatic spirits that have long been associated with witches, magicians, and the hidden realms. But what are familiars, really? Are they simply figments of folklore, or do they represent something far more significant, aspects of our own psyche, waiting to be discovered and integrated? In traditional magic, familiars are spirits bound to a witch or magician, providing assistance, guidance, and companionship. They often take the form of animals, elementals, or even the spirits of the dead. Familiars are acquired through pacts, inheritance, or natural affinity, and they are believed to possess unique powers and abilities. But what if these familiars are not external entities, but rather reflections of our own inner landscape, waiting to be acknowledged and embraced? Consider a psychological interpretation of familiars. What if these spirits are nothing more than aspects of our own psyche, such as intuition, creativity, or inner wisdom? Are they not the Jungian concepts of the shadow self, the anima animus, and the inner child, all personified into distinct entities? By working with these familiars, can we not access and integrate these often unconscious aspects of ourselves, leading to greater self-understanding and wholeness? And what does this mean for the path to individuation? The relationship between a practitioner and their familiar is often portrayed as one of domination, with the magician commanding the spirit to do their bidding. But what if this relationship is more of a partnership, a collaboration between equals? What if the familiar is not a servant, but a guide, offering wisdom and support as we navigate the complexities of life? Are we not merely engaging in a form of inner dialogue, listening to the voices within ourselves and learning to trust our own intuition? Consider the symbolism of different types of familiars. Animal familiars, such as cats, owls, and ravens, often represent instinct, intuition, and connection to nature. Elemental familiars, such as gnomes, undines, sylphs, and salamanders, embody the four elements of earth, water, air, and fire, representing different aspects of our personality. Ancestral spirits connect us to our past, our heritage, and the wisdom of our ancestors. But what do these symbols truly mean? And how can we harness their power to balance and harmonize our own inner world? As we delve deeper into the realm of familiars, however, we must also consider the ethical implications of this work. What responsibilities do we have to these entities, whether they are external spirits or aspects of our own psyche? How can we ensure that we are not simply projecting our own desires and fears onto them, manipulating them to serve our own selfish ends? And what are the potential dangers of working with these often unpredictable forces? Self-awareness and ethical considerations are of paramount importance when working with familiars. It is crucial to approach this work with responsibility, respect, and a clear understanding of our own motivations and limitations. We must avoid projecting our own desires or fears onto the familiar, and we must align our actions with our values, avoiding manipulation or coercion. But how can we cultivate this level of self-awareness? And what safeguards can we put in place to protect ourselves and others from harm? Establishing a safe space and an ethical understanding of what this type of demon work entails is critical. We must employ techniques for establishing boundaries, protecting ourselves from unwanted influences, and ensuring that our intentions are pure. Self-reflection and journaling can help us track our experiences with familiars and identify any potential imbalances or negative patterns. But is this enough? And what happens when we encounter the shadow aspects of our familiars? Familiars can also represent shadow aspects of the psyche, such as negative thought patterns, limiting beliefs, or destructive impulses. Working with these shadow familiars can be challenging, but it can also be incredibly transformative, leading to greater self-acceptance and wholeness. By confronting these dark aspects of ourselves, we can integrate them into our personality and unlock hidden potential. But how do we face these shadows without succumbing to their influence? Is it not essentially a mirror reflecting aspects of the self? To engage in responsible familiar work, we must set clear boundaries, communicate respectfully, and integrate the lessons learned into our daily life. Keeping a journal to track our experiences and identify potential imbalances can be invaluable. Seeking guidance from experienced practitioners or therapists can also help us maintain a balanced and grounded perspective. But what if we lack access to these resources? Are we then destined to stumble blindly through the darkness? As we draw these threads together, we can see how the concepts of demons and familiars are inextricably linked, both representing aspects of the psyche that can be explored and integrated for personal growth and self-transformation. By embracing the transformative potential of these symbolic figures, we can unlock hidden potential, dismantle limiting beliefs, and embark on a journey of self-discovery and individuation. But are these demons simply psychological constructs? Do they have a reality beyond our own minds? And what are the implications of this for our understanding of the universe? As we approach these complex questions, we are led to yet another mystery that we must unpack. What role did ritual practices play in the understanding and expression of these archetypes? And how can we translate those practices into our modern lives? But before we delve further into the practical applications of demon work, let's first dispel some common misconceptions that often cloud the perception of this ancient practice. Is demon work inherently evil? Is it a dangerous path reserved only for a select few? The answer, as we shall see, is far more nuanced and empowering than you might think. The misconception that demon work is inherently evil often stems from religious dogma and cultural biases that equate demons with malevolent forces. But is this a fair and accurate assessment? What if demons are not simply evil entities, but rather complex archetypes representing different aspects of the human psyche, both light and shadow? To limit our understanding of demons to mere evil would be to ignore the potential for self-discovery and personal growth that lies within their exploration. Besides, demonization has historically been employed as a political tool to marginalize and control certain groups. Therefore, is it truly justifiable to cast demons as inherently evil, or is there a deeper symbolic understanding here? Then there's the crucial distinction between invocation and evocation. Are these two terms interchangeable, or do they represent fundamentally different approaches to demon work? Invocation, as we've discussed, is about calling upon a force or quality within oneself, embodying the qualities of the demon as a means of personal transformation. Evocation, on the other hand, involves summoning an external entity, commanding it to do one's bidding. While the lesser key can be used for either purpose, a psychological approach primarily involves invocation, focusing on self-transformation rather than external manipulation. Is not invocation, therefore, a safer and more ethical practice, one that empowers the individual without compromising their integrity or free will? And what of the idea that practitioners are selling their souls, making a pact with evil forces that will forever bind them to darkness? This notion, deeply rooted in Christian theology, often fails to reflect the beliefs or practices of most modern occultists. Do practitioners truly relinquish their free will when working with demons? Do they become mere puppets of some external force, devoid of autonomy and agency? Hardly. The importance of intention and free will cannot be overstated in any spiritual practice, and demon work is no exception. Practitioners retain their free will and autonomy, and they are not bound to serve any external force against their will. But if this is the case, why does the myth persist? Is it simply a matter of fear and misunderstanding, or is there something else at play here? Finally, there's the belief that only gifted individuals can work with demons, that only those with special abilities or innate talents are capable of successfully navigating this complex terrain. But is this an accurate portrayal? Is demon work truly an exclusive club reserved for the chosen few? Or is it a path open to anyone willing to approach it with respect, responsibility, and a willingness to learn? While some individuals may indeed have a natural affinity for certain practices, the lesser key is ultimately a tool for self-exploration that is accessible to anyone willing to dedicate the time, effort, and commitment required. The key to success lies not in innate talent, but in dedication, perseverance, and a willingness to learn from one's mistakes. And in the end, is not the journey of self-discovery far more valuable than any innate gift? What role does active imagination play in this process? Indeed, engaging with the contents of our unconscious, those demons that haunt our inner landscape, is a vital step on the path to individuation, the process of becoming a whole and integrated self. By embracing these shadow aspects, understanding their origins, and integrating them into our conscious awareness, can we not unlock hidden potential and transform our lives in profound ways? How then can these forces that appear to hold us back actually propel us forward? Having addressed these common misconceptions, let us now expand our Godic bestiary, venturing into the realms of Veilfa and Raum, two additional demons from the Lesser Key whose unique attributes and correspondences offer valuable insights into the human condition. Can these figures truly unlock the keys to success and understanding, or do they represent something far more complex? Consider Veilfa, the demon of thievery, whose planetary correspondence to Mars infuses him with a raw, assertive energy. Is Velfar simply a patron of criminals, encouraging theft and dishonesty? Or does his dominion extend to something far more nuanced, the ability to acquire what one needs, to be resourceful, and to seize opportunities? Velfar, in this light, can be seen as a symbol of ambition, drive, and the relentless pursuit of one's goals. What then are the practical applications of working with Velfar's energy? Entrepreneurs, for example, can harness Velfar's energy to identify opportunities and secure funding for their businesses. Salespeople can tap into his persuasive power to close deals and exceed their targets. Negotiators can utilize his cunning to gain the upper hand in negotiations. But what about the ethical considerations? Is it possible to work with Velfar's energy without succumbing to dishonesty, manipulation, or the exploitation of others? Absolutely. The key lies in self-awareness and ethical intention. By understanding the potential pitfalls of Velfar's energy, we can harness its positive aspects for creativity, innovation, and achieving our goals ethically and responsibly. But is this not a razor's edge? What measures can we take to ensure that we remain on the right side of that line? Now, let us turn our attention to Raum, the demon of stealing, whose dominion extends to uncovering hidden truths and seeing what others cannot. Is Raum simply a thief of physical objects, encouraging greed and dishonesty? Or does his power lie in the ability to perceive what is concealed, to penetrate illusions, and to uncover the secrets that lie hidden beneath the surface? Raum, in this context, can be seen as a symbol of intuition, insight, and the pursuit of knowledge. How then can we harness Raum's energy for personal and professional success? Investigators, for example, can work with Raum's energy to uncover hidden truths and solve complex mysteries. Researchers can tap into his intuitive abilities to make breakthroughs in their fields. Therapists can utilize his insights to help their clients uncover repressed memories and unresolved traumas. But again, we must proceed with caution. What are the ethical implications of seeking to uncover hidden truths? Is it always justifiable to expose secrets, even if they are harmful or damaging? The key lies in discernment, wisdom, and a commitment to using our knowledge for the greater good. By balancing Raum's insights with ethical considerations, we can use his gifts to promote truth, justice, and healing. But what if the truth is not what we expect? Are we prepared to face the consequences of our discoveries? Self-awareness, as we have seen, is paramount when working with any of these forces, and working with Velfar and Raum is no different. It is only through intention, responsibility, and the avoidance of harm that can we truly benefit from these practices. But how can we put these concepts into practice? Is there a ritual that can aid us in this process? To that end, let us now explore a practical ritual, a Decoding meditation designed to connect you with the energies and qualities associated with a specific demon from the lesser key, allowing you to unlock your inner potential and transform your life in profound ways. What steps can we take to create a sacred space and harness the power of these ancient techniques? And how can we ensure that our intentions remain pure and focused? Begin by creating a sacred space, a sanctuary free from distractions and conducive to inner reflection. Select a location where you feel safe, comfortable, and undisturbed. Cleanse the space using sage, incense, or sound, visualizing any negative energies being dispelled. Set up an altar with candles, incense, crystals, and other symbolic objects that resonate with you. Personalize the space to reflect your own beliefs and intentions, creating an atmosphere that is both sacred and empowering. What is the next step after the space is created? Next, focus on the demon's sigil, a visual key that unlocks its qualities. Gaze upon the sigil, allowing your eyes to soften and your mind to quiet. Visualize the sigil glowing with power, its lines and shapes resonating with the energies of the demon. Recite affirmations that align with the qualities you wish to embody, such as, I am resourceful, I am persuasive, or I am intuitive. Feel the energy of the demon flowing through you, empowering you to overcome obstacles and achieve your goals. Now, as you meditate, what visions or insights arise? As you delve deeper into the meditation, pay close attention to the symbolism behind the various elements. The sigil, as we have discussed, acts as a visual key to unlocking the demon's qualities. The affirmations help to reprogram the subconscious mind, aligning oneself with the desired qualities. The visualizations create a vivid and immersive experience, enhancing the connection to the demon. By understanding the symbolism behind these elements, we can consciously activate the subconscious mind and tap into the energies associated with the demon. But what if we don't experience immediate results? Should we give up? Or should we persevere, trusting in the process and allowing the energies to unfold in their own time? In sum, working with the lesser key is a potent tool for self-exploration, shadow integration, and personal growth. Approaching this practice with respect, responsibility, and a clear understanding of one's own motivations and limitations is of paramount importance. As we have seen, the lesser key is not just a literal guide to demon summoning, but a rich tapestry of symbols and archetypes that can be interpreted on multiple levels, each offering valuable insights into the human condition. Taking responsibility for one's own actions and intentions, and avoiding any practice that could cause harm to oneself or others, is the cornerstone of ethical demon work. But are these demons real? Are they external entities with their own consciousness and agendas? Or are they simply products of the human imagination, reflections of our own inner landscape? This question, as we approach the conclusion, remains open, inviting further exploration and reflection. And as we continue, we will be certain to explore each demon one by one, their unique skills and connections. We'll even explore some demons that were not in the original lesser key. As we've explored the misconceptions surrounding demon work and delved into practical rituals, a question lingers. Can these so-called demons, particularly the infamous Lucifer, truly offer guidance, or are we merely succumbing to dangerous illusions? Lucifer, the light bearer, the morning star, the adversary, his very name conjures a storm of conflicting images. Is he the fallen angel of Christian mythology, forever condemned for his rebellion, or is he a Promethean figure, gifting humanity with the forbidden fire of knowledge? In traditional depictions, Lucifer stands as the epitome of pride, the angel who dared to challenge God's authority and was cast out of heaven as punishment. Consider Milton's Paradise Lost, where Lucifer, even in defeat, embodies a tragic grandeur, a testament to the power of free will and the courage to defy tyranny. Yet this portrayal is only one facet of a multifaceted archetype. Just as Prometheus stole fire from the gods to empower humanity, Lucifer, in some esoteric traditions, represents the spark of divine intelligence that ignites the human mind, urging us to question, to explore, and to transcend our limitations. But as we navigate these treacherous waters, does the pursuit of knowledge justify the rejection of all authority? And where does one draw the line between enlightenment and arrogance? Delving deeper, we find Lucifer associated with Venus, the planet of beauty, love, and intellect. Venus governs the arts, sciences, and the pursuit of pleasure, all facets of human experience that can lead to both sublime creation and decadent excess. In this light, Lucifer embodies the potential for both enlightenment and vanity, urging us to seek knowledge and beauty, but also warning us against the dangers of pride and self-obsession. Can we truly embrace the gifts of Venus without succumbing to her darker allure? And how can we distinguish between genuine inspiration and mere self-aggrandizement? Psychologically, Lucifer represents the archetype of the quest for knowledge, the courage to question authority, and the pursuit of individual freedom, a concept deeply intertwined with Jung's theory of individuation. The desire to break free from limiting beliefs and societal constraints, to challenge the status quo and forge one's own path, this is the essence of the Luciferian impulse. Working with this archetype allows us to challenge our own assumptions, to confront our fears, and to embrace our unique potential. But is it possible to pursue individual freedom without isolating oneself from the world? Can we truly achieve individuation without considering the needs and perspectives of others? What part does shadow work have to play in finding a suitable course? Lucifer's symbolism has undergone a dramatic transformation throughout history, evolving from the ultimate tempter to a Promethean figure of liberation. Christian interpretations often cast him as an embodiment of pure evil, a force of darkness seeking to corrupt and destroy. Yet esoteric interpretations view him as a spiritual guide, a bringer of light who challenges us to think for ourselves and to question the established order. Which of these interpretations resonates more deeply with you, and what does that say about your own beliefs and values? Even Lucifer's sigil, with its ascending lines and symbols of fire, reflects these themes of enlightenment, rebellion, and transformation. The geometric patterns suggest upward movement, a striving for higher knowledge and spiritual attainment. The symbols of fire reflect the transformative power of enlightenment, the ability to burn away old beliefs and embrace new perspectives. Can we decipher the deeper meanings embedded within these symbols? And how can we use them to unlock our own potential for transformation? To harness Lucifer's energy in a practical way, consider engaging in exercises that stimulate philosophical inquiry, creative expression, and the questioning of one's own beliefs. Engage in intellectual debates and discussions to sharpen your mind and challenge your assumptions. Explore your creative potential through art, music, writing, or any other medium that allows you to express your unique perspective. Embrace practices that foster self-awareness, such as meditation, journaling, or shadow work. By consciously engaging with these practices, you can harness Lucifer's energy to overcome fear, embrace the unknown, and unlock your inner potential. But can the process of embracing Lucifer's power be done safely? Now, let us consider an unconventional idea. What if we viewed demons not as adversaries to be controlled, but as potential mentors or guides? Each demon embodies specific qualities or skills that can be learned and integrated into one's own life. Veilfar, as we've seen, embodies the ability to acquire what one needs, to be resourceful, and to seize opportunities. Raum embodies the ability to perceive what is concealed, to penetrate illusions, and to uncover the secrets that lie hidden beneath the surface. Can we truly learn from these figures? And how can we ensure that we are not led astray? When working with demons as mentors, it is crucial to establish clear ethical guidelines and boundaries, focusing on respect, reciprocity, and the avoidance of manipulation. The practitioner must always retain their free will and autonomy, and they should never be coerced or forced to do anything against their values. Seeking guidance from experienced practitioners or therapists to maintain a balanced and grounded perspective is highly recommended. Can a person who is still early on their spiritual journey handle this type of practice? Choosing a demon mentor requires careful consideration of one's own path and goals. For those seeking enlightenment and intellectual liberation, Lucifer may offer the best path forward. For those seeking passion, creativity, and the ability to overcome obstacles, Asmodeus may provide valuable guidance. Is there one demon that is objectively better to follow? Each demon offers unique benefits. Baal can act as a strong authority figure, helping to develop leadership skills and the ability to command respect. Lucifer can act as a knowledge figure, guiding one toward intellectual enlightenment and the pursuit of truth. Can these demons help others who are not on the same Luciferian path? The qualities we learn from demon mentorship can be applied to our relationships in real life. By embodying the positive qualities of our chosen demon, we can become better mentors, leaders, and communicators. However, we must also be aware of the risks of losing control, of allowing our pride or ambition to overshadow our ethical responsibilities. Is the risk truly worth the reward? But what happens when mentors embody negative qualities or lead their mentees down unethical paths? This is where the concept of shadow mentors comes into play. A mentor who is overly ambitious or driven by ego can lead their mentee to prioritize success over integrity. A mentor who is manipulative or controlling can undermine their mentee's autonomy and self-esteem. Are such situations avoidable? Therefore, we must always be willing to challenge our mentors and to express our own opinions, even if they differ from those of our mentors. The goal of mentorship is not to create clones, but to empower individuals to develop their own unique talents and abilities. The pursuit of knowledge must always be balanced with ethical considerations and a commitment to the well-being of others. But where can we look to find individuals who can act as reality checks? Even pride and ego can affect those acting as mentors. A Luciferian mentor may prioritize knowledge above all else, neglecting the importance of compassion and empathy. An Asmodeus mentor may prioritize passion above all else, leading their mentee down a path of recklessness and self-destruction. How can you tell that one of these figures are a shadow mentor? Spotting these issues requires careful self-reflection, ethical accountability, and a willingness to seek guidance from trusted sources. Establishing firm boundaries with others is essential, as is being prepared to break ties if necessary. Remember, the pursuit of knowledge must always be balanced with a commitment to the well-being of others. But does this mean giving up on Luciferianism? Let us now turn to the Luciferian philosophy, which views Lucifer not as an evil force, but as a symbol of enlightenment, rebellion, and the pursuit of knowledge. Luciferians often see Lucifer as a liberator who challenges the tyranny of dogma and encourages individuals to think for themselves, just as Michael W. Ford reinterprets Luciferianism as a path of self-empowerment and individual sovereignty. But is it possible to embrace the Luciferian philosophy without falling into the trap of selfishness or moral relativism? The Luciferian philosophy can be a source of empowerment and inspiration for those seeking to break free from limiting beliefs and to embrace their own unique potential. The Luciferian emphasis on knowledge and self-reliance can help individuals to develop their critical thinking skills and to make informed decisions about their own lives. The Luciferian emphasis on individual sovereignty can help individuals to assert their own autonomy and to resist external pressures to conform. How much power can one take before losing their own sovereignty? However, we must also be mindful of the potential dangers of misinterpreting Luciferianism as a justification for selfishness, violence, or the rejection of all moral values. The hubris that comes with knowledge can be especially tempting. Luciferians must always be mindful of the impact of their actions on others, and they should never use their freedom or knowledge to harm or exploit anyone. What limitations should one set on their own free will? Luciferianism also touches upon social and political structures, with concepts such as individualism, free will, and power, but also with greed, authority, and tyranny. How can Luciferians be seen to have positive and negative qualities? How does Luciferian philosophy relate to today's world? As we synthesize these ideas, remember that the Lesser Key is not just a literal guide to demon summoning, but a rich tapestry of symbols and archetypes that can be interpreted on multiple levels, especially the psychological. By exploring the dark aspects of our psyche, we can unlock hidden potential and transform our lives in profound ways, but we must always proceed with caution, respect, and a clear understanding of our own motivations and limitations. But how do we determine if we are proceeding with responsibility? What are some of the ways this responsibility will be tested? And in the end, what is the cost? Alternative historical interpretations of demonology can dramatically alter our understanding of the Lesser Key of Solomon. Is it merely a catalogue of evil entities, or does it reflect a more nuanced understanding of human psychology and cross-cultural beliefs? To truly appreciate the depth and complexity of this grimoire, we must challenge the assumption that the Western Christian interpretation of demons is universal. Indeed, the understanding of these entities varies significantly across cultures and historical periods. What one culture deems a demon may be a deity or a neutral spirit in another, reflecting the rich tapestry of human spirituality and belief. For instance, consider the Islamic concept of jinn. While often translated as genies in the West, Jinn are spirits that can be either benevolent or malevolent, depending on their individual nature and their interactions with humans. Unlike the Christian view of demons as inherently evil tempters, jinn possess free will and can choose to help or harm. This crucial difference in perspective highlights the cultural relativity of demonology. What is considered an evil force in one context may simply be a powerful, amoral entity in another. Or consider some indigenous cultures, which view spirits as natural forces that can be both helpful and harmful, depending on how they are approached and respected. These spirits are not inherently malevolent, but rather reflect the balance and interconnectedness of the natural world. Is it possible, then, that our Western understanding of demons is simply a limited perspective on a much larger, more complex reality? To further illustrate this point, let us examine specific examples of figures considered demons in Western demonology who have more positive or ambiguous roles in other traditions. Take Lilith, for instance. In Jewish folklore, Lilith is often portrayed as a demonic figure, the first wife of Adam who refused to submit to his authority and was cast out of Eden. However, in some contemporary pagan and feminist traditions, Lilith has been reclaimed as a symbol of female empowerment, sexual liberation, and independence. She represents the strength and autonomy of women who refuse to be subjugated by patriarchal norms. This stark contrast in interpretation reveals how cultural biases and power dynamics can shape the perception of spiritual figures. Or, consider the figure of Pazuzu in Mesopotamian mythology. While depicted as a terrifying demon with grotesque features, Pazuzu was also revered as a protector against other evil spirits, particularly those that brought disease and misfortune. His image was often placed on amulets and protective charms to ward off harm, highlighting the complexity and ambiguity of his role. Was Pazuzu evil, or was he a necessary force for maintaining balance in a chaotic world? Even within Celtic traditions, some deities were demonized as Christianity spread through the region. The demonization of certain figures or deities often stems from historical and cultural factors, including religious conflict, political power struggles, and cultural anxieties. The Christian Church, for example, frequently demonized pagan gods and goddesses to undermine their followers and consolidate its own power. By portraying these figures as evil and dangerous, the Church could discredit rival belief systems and encourage conversion to Christianity. Similarly, cultural anxieties and prejudices can lead to the demonization of marginalized groups or individuals. Those who are seen as other or who challenge societal norms may be demonized as a way of reinforcing existing power structures. Is it possible that our understanding of demons is simply a reflection of our own fears and prejudices? These alternative interpretations resonate deeply with Jungian archetypes, suggesting that the demons of the Lesser K represent universal patterns of human experience expressed differently across cultures. The archetype of the shadow self, for instance, may manifest as a demon in one culture and as a trickster figure in another, reflecting the diverse ways in which societies grapple with the darker aspects of human nature. Understanding these archetypes allows us to develop a more nuanced and compassionate understanding of ourselves and others, recognizing that even the most terrifying demons may simply be distorted reflections of our own repressed or denied qualities. How can an understanding of other cultures impact and inform how an individual views particular demons in the Gothic bestiary? Building on this foundation of cultural relativity, let us now consider the ethical implications of working with demons from different cultural perspectives. This leads us to the philosophical concept of ethical relativism, which suggests that moral values are relative to specific cultures or individuals, and that there are no universal moral truths. In contrast to ethical absolutism, which holds that there are universal moral principles that apply to all people at all times, ethical relativism emphasizes the diversity of human values and the importance of respecting different belief systems. But how can we navigate the complex ethical landscape of demon work when faced with such a diversity of perspectives? The ethical implications of working with demons from different cultural perspectives demand careful consideration and a deep respect for diverse beliefs and values. Practitioners should be acutely aware of the cultural context and potential sensitivities surrounding the demons they are working with, avoiding any actions that could be construed as appropriation, misrepresentation, or disrespect. Is it ethical to invoke a deity or spirit from another culture without fully understanding its significance and the traditions associated with it? Should practitioners seek permission or guidance from members of that culture before engaging with these entities? It is crucial to avoid appropriating or misrepresenting cultural traditions, always seeking to understand the perspectives of those who hold different beliefs. Engaging in open dialogue, seeking guidance from knowledgeable individuals, and immersing oneself in the cultural context can help practitioners to navigate these ethical challenges with greater sensitivity and respect. But what happens when cultural beliefs clash or conflict? Despite the diversity of cultural perspectives, there is also the potential for identifying universal values that are shared across different traditions, such as compassion, justice, and respect for human dignity. These values can serve as a foundation for ethical decision-making in Decodic work, helping practitioners to navigate complex moral dilemmas and to avoid causing harm. Even when working with forces that are traditionally considered dangerous or evil, practitioners can strive to act in accordance with these universal values, focusing on personal transformation, self-understanding, and the betterment of humanity. What if the pursuit of self-knowledge inevitably leads to the transgression of certain cultural norms or ethical boundaries? Is it possible to reconcile the desire for individual growth with the need for social responsibility? To further illustrate this point, consider historical examples of cultural appropriation and the demonization of other cultures. The European colonization of the Americas, for instance, was often justified by the demonization of indigenous peoples and their spiritual beliefs. By portraying Native Americans as savages who worship demons, colonizers could legitimize their conquest and exploitation of the land and its inhabitants. This tragic example highlights the dangers of imposing one's own cultural values on others and the importance of respecting diverse belief systems. How can we avoid repeating these historical mistakes in our own practice? Is there a way to bridge different cultures, even when it comes to what one sees as demonic? Or are we doomed to simply repeat the mistakes of the past? The exploration of ethical relativism and universal values inevitably leads us to another fundamental philosophical question. Do we truly have free will, or are our actions predetermined by fate or other forces? This is the age-old debate between free will and determinism. Determinism suggests that all events are causally determined by prior events, thus negating free will. From a deterministic view, even our encounters with demons would be preordained, part of a larger chain of cause and effect. But if everything is predetermined, what is the point of engaging in magical practices or striving for personal transformation? Conversely, the free will view suggests that humans are capable of making genuinely free choices, independent of any external forces or prior events. From a free will perspective, we are fully responsible for our actions and their consequences, including the potential outcomes of our interactions with demonic entities. But if we are truly free, then how do we account for the influence of our genes, our environment, and our past experiences? Can we truly escape the chains of causality and make choices that are entirely our own? How does one's philosophical stance impact how one might approach demon work? For example, if one views the future as immutable, then what would be the point of such work? Our differing worldviews profoundly impact our intention and personal agency. Can practitioners use intention to overcome determinism? If the universe is a clockwork mechanism set in motion long ago, then our intentions are merely cogs in that machine, predetermined by prior causes. But if we possess genuine free will, then our intentions have the power to shape our reality, to alter the course of events, and to influence the outcome of our interactions with the spiritual world. Does the act of consciously choosing to work with a demon constitute an assertion of free will, a defiance of deterministic forces? Or is that choice itself simply the inevitable result of prior causes? How do ethical values play in? Do our ethical values create limitations for the practitioner, guiding our choices and preventing us from engaging in harmful or destructive behaviors? Or is even ethical behavior predetermined, a mere reflection of our genetic predispositions or our cultural conditioning? If our ethical values are simply the product of external forces, then can we truly be held accountable for our actions? Or are we simply puppets dancing to the tune of fate? By imposing our ethical values, do we change our deterministic path? In closing, let us summarize the key takeaways from this section. The lesser key can be viewed through multiple lenses: cultural, ethical, and philosophical. Our understanding of demons is shaped by our cultural background, our ethical values, and our philosophical beliefs. Ethical and philosophical differences affect practice. How we approach demon work depends on whether we embrace ethical relativism, universal values, free will, or determinism. These differences affect practice. What does this say about our own biases? But we are just scratching the surface. What other demons may be viewed differently by various cultures? How can we reconcile the pursuit of self-knowledge with the need for ethical responsibility? What are the practical implications of free will and determinism for those who seek to work with the forces of the lesser key? These are just a few of the questions that we will continue to explore in future discussions, as we delve deeper into the mysteries of the occult and seek to unlock the hidden potential within ourselves. Let us now turn our attention to a common misconception surrounding sigils: the notion that they are merely symbolic drawings, simple geometric designs devoid of deeper esoteric significance, a perception often reinforced by mainstream content and introductory occult books that present them as mere symbols to be copied and used without understanding. In contrast to this superficial view, the traditional perspective regards sigils as potent visual keys, each meticulously crafted to unlock specific energies and qualities, visual keys that must be properly charged to be useful, lest we find ourselves merely tracing lines on paper with no tangible result, like a musician playing the correct notes, but without soul or passion. What then is the difference between a mere drawing and a sigil imbued with power? The traditional method of sigil creation offers a compelling answer to this question, as it involves far more than simply sketching a design. Rather, it requires a focused intention and symbolic understanding. Consider the practice of condensing a statement of intent into a monogram, a visual cipher representing the desired outcome, or the use of magical alphabets, such as Theban or Enochian, to construct sigils imbued with hidden meaning and power. By carefully selecting and arranging these symbols, the practitioner imbues the sigil with their conscious will, creating a visual representation of their desired outcome, much like an artist carefully chooses their colors and brushstrokes to convey a specific emotion or message. Is it not the act of creation itself, the focused intent and symbolic understanding, that sets a true sigil apart from a mere drawing? Indeed, the importance of charging sigils with focused intention and emotional energy cannot be overstated, for it is this process that truly activates the sigil and connects it to the desired outcome. Various methods exist for charging sigils, from intense visualization and focused meditation to elaborate ritual actions and cathartic emotional release. Through these practices, the practitioner infuses the sigil with their personal energy, transforming it from a passive symbol into an active agent of change. Can the act of creating and charging a sigil, therefore, be seen as a form of focused intention, a deliberate act of influencing the subconscious mind and manifesting desired outcomes, much like a carefully aimed arrow finding its target? Or are we merely deluding ourselves with elaborate rituals and wishful thinking? Contrast this traditional ceremonial magic process with more modern chaos magic sigil creation, which stems from the premise that belief itself is a tool. Chaos magic sigil creation typically begins with creating a phrase relating to a desire. Next, all vowels are removed, along with repeating letters. The remaining letters are then turned into a monogram that is meditated upon, charged, and then launched from the mind. As with traditional sigil magic, the sigil is then forgotten, which is believed to allow the desire to manifest. It is important to understand that, regardless of the process, the creation of a sigil is, in effect, the materialization of intention, and that focusing on the sigil allows the practitioner to focus on their goals. But how can we harness this power of intention in a meaningful and transformative way? Let us explore the concept of sigil meditation as a potent technique for connecting with the energies and qualities associated with a specific demon, for accessing the depths of the unconscious mind, and for facilitating profound personal transformation. Sigil meditation can be seen as a form of active imagination, a practice championed by Carl Jung as a means of bringing unconscious content into conscious awareness, allowing for integration and healing. By focusing our attention on the sigil, we create a bridge between our conscious and unconscious minds, opening a channel for communication and transformation. Is it not through this process of conscious engagement with the unconscious that we can truly understand ourselves and unlock our hidden potential? To embark on a sigil meditation, first prepare a sacred space by lighting candles, burning incense, and playing calming music, creating an atmosphere conducive to introspection and connection. Focus the mind by practicing deep breathing, reciting affirmations, or visualizing the desired outcome, centering yourself and aligning your intention with the purpose of the meditation. Then, engage the imagination by visualizing the demon's presence, exploring its qualities and attributes, and engaging in a dialogue with it, allowing your unconscious mind to express itself freely. Approach the meditation with an open mind, a clear intention, and a willingness to embrace whatever arises, trusting that the process will lead you to deeper understanding and transformation. How can we analyze each step of this process to enhance its effectiveness? Consider meditating during the planetary hour associated with the demon, aligning your practice with the astrological energies that resonate with its qualities, or utilizing colors, scents, and symbols that evoke the demon's essence, creating a sensory experience that deepens your connection. Approaching the meditation with an open mind, a clear intention, and a willingness to embrace whatever arises is paramount, for it is through this openness that we allow the unconscious to speak and reveal its hidden truths. The goal is to have an actual conversation with the demon, treating it with respect, even if its message is difficult or challenging, and simply observing without judgment, allowing it to speak first and reveal its nature. Can the sigil, with its unique shapes and symbolic patterns, serve as a catalyst for this process, unlocking the doors of perception and allowing us to access the unconscious traits associated with the demon? Or are we merely projecting our own internal conflicts onto an external symbol? Expanding our perspective beyond the lesser key, we find that the use of sigils is not confined to this specific grimoire, but is a common thread that runs through various occult traditions, such as tarot, astrology, alchemy, and ceremonial magic. From the sigils associated with the tarot trumps, each representing specific archetypes and energies, to the astrological symbols used as sigils for planets, signs, and houses, their role in astrological magic is significant. And then, there are the alchemical symbols used to represent elements, processes, and substances, symbols that play a vital role in alchemical operations. Why is it that these seemingly disparate traditions all employ sigils as a means of encoding and transmitting esoteric knowledge? By examining the symbolism of sigils from different occult traditions, we can identify common themes, patterns, and underlying principles that connect them all. The use of geometric shapes, such as circles, triangles, and squares, to represent different aspects of reality and consciousness. The utilization of colors, numbers, and planetary correspondences to enhance the meaning and power of sigils. And the underlying principle of encoding intention and energy into a visual symbol all point to a deeper understanding of the human psyche and its connection to the cosmos. Consider, for instance, the elemental associations within the tarot, where each suit corresponds to a specific element and its associated qualities. Or the planetary associations, where each card is linked to a planet and its corresponding energies. Are these not all different facets of the same underlying reality, different languages for expressing the same fundamental truths? The ability for the individual to create personalized sigils to facilitate change is a testament to the inherent power within each of us, not unlike the capacity to speak thoughts into existence. When we create sigils, we imprint our will upon the fabric of reality, bending it to our desires. We are not merely passive observers, but active participants in the unfolding of our own destiny, and in a very real way we become co-creators of our lives. As we personalize our sigils, we tap into the power of our subconscious, amplifying our desires. The common threads that connect sigils across multiple practices are thus far-reaching. But how can we best harness this power to create lasting and meaningful change in our lives? As we draw this section to a close, let us reiterate the importance of understanding the symbolism, intent, and ethical considerations involved in working with sigils and other occult practices. Recognizing that the lesser key is not merely a literal guide to demon summoning, but a rich tapestry of symbols and archetypes that can be interpreted on multiple levels. Show yourself how to iterate upon your own sigil practices to achieve optimal results, understanding your goals and keeping a journal. Let us highlight the importance of taking responsibility for one's own actions and intentions, avoiding any practice that could cause harm to oneself or others. We must remember that the true power of sigil work lies not in manipulating external forces, but in transforming ourselves from within, like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. But we're just scratching the surface. As we continue our exploration, we will delve even deeper into the mysteries of the lesser key, questioning whether the demons are real entities or simply products of the human imagination, and discussing how these techniques can be applied safely and ethically. What we'll discover next is even more shocking. What if the true key to unlocking the power of the lesser key lies not in the external world of demons and spirits, but in the depths of our own minds? Having explored the power of sigil meditation and the importance of intention in connecting with the archetypal energies represented by the Decodic demons, let us now turn our attention to a specific case study, one that exemplifies the practical application of these principles. Gop, the powerful president of the South. A figure shrouded in mystery and traditionally associated with the power of divination. But what can this seemingly obscure demon teach us about ourselves and the hidden depths of our own minds? Gop, as described in the Lesser Key of Solomon, holds dominion over the southern regions of the Decodic hierarchy, a position that symbolizes his influence over the realms of intuition, perception, and hidden knowledge, traditionally known for his abilities to induce love, hatred, teach philosophy, liberate familiars, and impart true answers to questions. Gop is said to appear when the sun is in a southern sign, a detail that emphasizes his connection to the element of fire and the qualities of passion, transformation, and illumination. Consider, for instance, his ability to transport men quickly from one kingdom to another, which can be interpreted as the power to transcend the mundane and access higher states of consciousness, or his skill in philosophy and liberating familiars, which suggests intellectual and spiritual freedom. Is Gop, therefore, not merely a demonic entity to be summoned, but an archetype of the discerning mind, one who can reveal the true answers to our deepest questions. Let us delve deeper into Gop's planetary correspondence, his association with the element of fire, an element that represents not only passion and energy, but also intuition and the transformative power of inspiration. Just as fire can illuminate the darkness and bring warmth to the cold, so too can Gop's influence ignite the spark of intuition within us, guiding us towards knowledge and understanding. Consider, for instance, how fire represents creativity, the ability to forge something new from the raw materials of our experience, and the ability to ignite change, to break free from the constraints of our limiting beliefs and embrace new possibilities. Could Gop, then, be seen as the fiery spark of intuition that can illuminate our path, helping us to see beyond the surface of reality and access hidden truths? But what is the psychological significance of Gop, and how can we interpret his qualities in the context of personal transformation? Gop can be seen as an archetype of intuition, perception, and the ability to see beyond the surface of reality, an archetype that emphasizes the importance of developing one's inner vision and trusting one's instincts. Consider, for instance, his association with hidden knowledge, which suggests the ability to access information that is not readily available to the conscious mind, or his ability to understand the deeper meaning of events, which speaks to the power of discernment and insight. By working with Gop, therefore, we can develop our ability to access hidden knowledge and to understand the deeper meaning of events, allowing us to make wise decisions based on intuition rather than solely on logic or reason. But how can we actively engage with this archetype and harness its transformative power? Analyzing Gop's sigil, we find a visual representation of these themes of divination, insight, and transformative power, a geometric pattern that holds within it the secrets of perception and revelation. Are there upward-pointing triangles suggesting the ascent of intuition and the pursuit of higher knowledge? Are there circular shapes reflecting the cyclical nature of time and the interconnectedness of all things? Perhaps within its lines we can find pathways, revelations, or hidden knowledge waiting to be unlocked, if only we know how to interpret them. By meditating on this sigil, we can activate these qualities within ourselves, aligning our conscious mind with the intuitive wisdom of our unconscious. To further harness Gop's energy, let's explore practical applications for working with his archetype, exercises designed to enhance our intuitive abilities and unlock our inner vision. Consider, for instance, divination practices such as tarot, scrying, oracles, techniques that can help us to tap into the wisdom of the unconscious and gain insights into the future or the truth about a matter. By keeping a dream journal and analyzing recurring symbols, we can gain deeper insights into the unconscious mind, unlocking hidden patterns and meanings that can guide our actions in the waking world. By harnessing Gop's energy, we can make better decisions, solve problems, and create a more fulfilling life, aligning ourselves with the flow of the cosmos and unlocking our true potential. But how can we further refine these practices to amplify their effectiveness? Having established the importance of intention and symbolism in working with sigils, let us now turn our attention to the diverse methods of sigil charging, techniques that go beyond mere visualization and engage the full spectrum of our senses. While visualization remains a core technique, let's expand our horizons and explore alternative approaches that can deepen our connection to the sigil and amplify its power, as a string section is often supported by the wind and brass sections. Could there be more efficient practices for those of us who have difficulty with visualization? Consider, for instance, auditory charging, the use of chants, mantras, or specific sound frequencies to vibrate the sigil with focused intention, or kinesthetic charging, the incorporation of movement, dance, or tactile stimulation to embody the sigil's energy. Then there's olfactory charging, the association of specific scents and aromas with the sigil's intent, creating a sensory experience that resonates with the desired outcome. The key to effective sigil charging lies in harnessing personal energy and aligning it with the sigil's purpose, and that different charging techniques are better suited for different people. It should be remembered that these are highly individual practices. Could we learn from modern psychology how to enhance the efficacy of our practices? As with any esoteric practice, experimentation is key to discovering what techniques work best for the individual. It's important to keep a journal and meticulously record experiences, noting the methods used, the sensations felt, and the results achieved. This process of long-term personal analysis allows us to refine our techniques and develop a deeper understanding of our own unique energetic signature. Are there certain times of day or phases of the moon when our energy is more conducive to sigil charging? Do certain colors or scents amplify our connection to specific archetypes? Through careful observation and experimentation, we can unlock the secrets of our own inner alchemical laboratory. Connecting to the senses is paramount during the charging process, allowing the individual to fully immerse themselves in the experience and amplify their connection to the sigil. Follow what feels correct and trust intuition, for the most effective charging techniques are those that resonate most deeply with personal energy and intention. Is it possible to lean into another entity or archetype while charging, channeling its power and wisdom to amplify the sigil's effects? By embracing the full spectrum of our senses, we can transform sigil charging from a mere intellectual exercise into a deeply embodied and transformative experience. But what safeguards must we put in place to ensure that we wield this power responsibly? Having explored the depths of sigil creation and charging, let us now turn our attention to the crucial topic of safeguards and integration. For with great power comes great responsibility, and it is essential that we approach these practices with ethical awareness and a commitment to positive change. We must reiterate the importance of ethical considerations when engaging in practices related to demonology and sigil work, reminding ourselves that these practices must align with our highest values and contribute to the greater good. Should we not, like physicians, first do no harm? Again, we must emphasize the harm in pursuing any kind of practice aimed at the domination of others, or any practice that does not create a benefit for all, remembering that true power lies not in control, but in service. Grounding practices are essential for avoiding losing oneself during these esoteric explorations, helping us to stay connected to our physical bodies and the present moment. Consider, for instance, meditation techniques designed to focus our attention and anchor us in the here and now, or seeking guidance from more experienced practitioners who can provide support and perspective. Creating clear and concise goals can help to keep grounded during these practices. By staying grounded, we can navigate the depths of the unconscious without becoming lost in its labyrinthine pathways. Integrating insights gained from demon work and sigil practices into tangible real-life actions is essential for transforming our lives in a meaningful way. Journaling and self-reflection can help us decipher the meanings and messages that arise during these practices, allowing us to translate them into practical strategies for personal growth. We might, for instance, make small, everyday adjustments to our behavior that reflect the changes brought about by such practices, aligning our outer world with our inner transformation. Remember, the goal is not merely to acquire knowledge, but to embody it in our actions and choices. Is it not through this integration that we truly become agents of change in our own lives? But how do we balance the dark and the light, harnessing the power of the demons without succumbing to their destructive tendencies? Consider, for instance, channeling the destructive traits of Asmodeus to start a business, transforming aggression into ambition, and using that energy to build something of value. Or channeling the traits of Lucifer to achieve enlightenment, embracing the quest for knowledge and truth, even when it leads us down unconventional paths. We can, therefore, harness the power of darkness to create light, transforming our shadow selves into sources of strength and wisdom. But what if these practices could extend beyond the realm of personal transformation and into our professional lives? Consider for a moment how the insights gained from these esoteric practices can be used in tandem with professional and psychological settings, enhancing our understanding of ourselves and others, and empowering us to make a positive impact on the world. The heightened self-awareness and intuitive abilities developed through demon work and sigil practices can be invaluable in fields such as therapy, counseling, and coaching, allowing us to connect with clients on a deeper level and guide them towards healing and growth. Moreover, the creative problem-solving skills fostered by these practices can be applied to business, innovation, and leadership, empowering us to think outside the box and develop innovative solutions to complex challenges. Are we, therefore, on the cusp of a new paradigm, one in which esoteric wisdom and psychological insights converge to create a more holistic and transformative approach to personal and professional development? But we're just scratching the surface. As we continue our exploration, we will delve even deeper into the integration of these seemingly disparate worlds, questioning whether the demons are merely archetypes of the unconscious mind or something more, and discussing how these techniques can be applied safely and ethically in various contexts. What we'll discover next is even more shocking. What if the true key to unlocking the power of the lesser key lies not only in personal transformation, but also in collective evolution, empowering us to create a more just, compassionate, and enlightened world? Having seen how Gop, traditionally a demon of knowledge, can be reframed as an archetype of intuition and discerning wisdom, can we extend this reinterpretation to other Godic entities, uncovering hidden potentials within their traditionally demonic attributes? Let us now turn our attention to Ranov, the Marquis of the Godic realm, a figure often associated with the imparting of languages, persuasive rhetoric, and the resolution of disputes, but whose monstrous depiction might give us pause. What secrets can we unlock from this demon of knowledge, art, and teaching? Ranov, as the grimoires describe, appears as a monster, a somewhat unsettling image that might initially deter the uninitiated, yet this very appearance serves as a crucial clue, a symbolic representation of the challenges inherent in the pursuit of knowledge. Is not true learning often a monstrous undertaking, a confrontation with uncomfortable truths and the dismantling of cherished beliefs? He's traditionally known for his ability to impart languages, understanding, and persuasive rhetoric. His ability to end disputes in favor of friends and foes will be emphasized, linking knowledge to diplomacy and conflict resolution. Ranov's monstrous form, therefore, could be interpreted as the embodiment of the intellectual and emotional labor required to grapple with complex ideas, the unsettling process of deconstructing our own biases and assumptions in the pursuit of objective understanding, as well as the great burden of knowledge, the weight of responsibility that comes with wielding such power. But let us not dwell solely on Ranov's intimidating visage. Let us also consider his other attributes, such as his skill in rhetoric and persuasion. This ability to communicate effectively, to sway hearts and minds, is not merely a tool for manipulation, but a vital skill for resolving disputes, fostering understanding, and building bridges between disparate viewpoints. What is diplomacy, after all, but the art of persuasion, the ability to articulate one's own needs and desires while simultaneously acknowledging and addressing the concerns of others? Think of the countless conflicts, both personal and international, that have been exacerbated by miscommunication, by a failure to listen and understand the other side, and then consider the potential of Ranov's influence to foster empathy and bridge divides. Is this monster not a master communicator? The association of Ranov with the element of air and the planet Mercury further elucidates his connection to the realm of communication, learning, and adaptability, each an essential quality for the seeker of wisdom. Mercury, the swift-footed messenger of the gods, governs the mind, intellect, and the exchange of ideas, while the element of air represents the realm of thought, the intangible space where concepts are born and debated. Consider how these qualities intertwine. Clear and concise communication requires a nimble and adaptable mind, one capable of grasping complex ideas and articulating them in a way that resonates with others. If clear communication builds bridges, then might we suppose that Ranov represents the architect. But what is the psychological significance of Ranov, and how can we interpret his qualities in the context of personal growth and self-discovery? Ranov can be seen as an archetype of effective communication, diplomacy, and the ability to see multiple perspectives, an archetype that emphasizes the importance of intellectual humility and the relentless pursuit of understanding. His ability to end disputes, for instance, can be interpreted as the skill of a good mediator, one who can remain objective, listen empathetically, and facilitate a mutually beneficial resolution. Think of how many arguments escalate into full-blown conflicts simply because the parties involved are unable to see beyond their own perspectives, and then consider the transformative power of a skilled mediator who can help them to find common ground. Could working with the spirit of Ranov bring those qualities into ourselves? Analyzing Ranov's sigil, we may discover visual representations of these themes of communication, balance, and harmonious resolution, geometric patterns that hold within them the secrets of effective dialogue and conflict resolution. Are there symmetrical shapes suggesting balance and fairness? Are there flowing lines reflecting ease of communication and the smooth resolution of conflicts? Perhaps within its lines, we can find interconnected pathways or scales balancing both sides of the conflict. By meditating on this sigil, we can activate these qualities within ourselves, aligning our conscious mind with the archetypal forces that promote understanding and harmony. To further harness Ranov's energy, let us explore practical applications for working with his archetype, exercises designed to enhance our communication skills, foster empathy, and promote diplomatic solutions. Consider, for instance, the practice of active listening, in which one focuses intently on the speaker, seeking to understand their perspective without interruption or judgment. Or studying different communication styles, learning to adapt our own language and approach to better connect with others. By actively cultivating these skills, we can channel Ranov's energy to resolve conflicts in our personal and professional relationships, to achieve greater understanding and harmony in all areas of our lives, and to more effectively persuade others towards ethical action. But is strict adherence to the texts required to harness these benefits? But what if strict historical accuracy isn't as crucial as some might believe? Must we slavishly imitate the practices of the past to unlock the power of these archetypes? Or is there room for innovation, for personal interpretation, for ethical adaptation? While historical context is undoubtedly valuable, providing a deeper understanding of the origins and evolution of these practices, it is not necessarily the only path to authentic experience. What if personal experience, intuition, and ethical considerations are equally, if not more, important in shaping one's own practice of demon work? After all, are we not seeking to connect with universal archetypes, with timeless energies that transcend the limitations of any particular historical moment? Different practitioners will have different perspectives and desired goals, so can we really expect one method to be effective for everyone? The key, perhaps, lies in critical thinking, in questioning assumptions, evaluating evidence, and forming our own conclusions based on careful reflection and personal experience. We must be wary of blindly accepting everything we read or hear about demon work, especially when it comes from sources with questionable motives or biases. Consider the sheer volume of misinformation and disinformation that circulates online, the countless individuals who claim to possess secret knowledge or special powers, and the ease with which historical facts can be distorted or manipulated. How can we discern truth from falsehood, authentic insight from mere fantasy? By cultivating a spirit of intellectual skepticism, by demanding evidence and scrutinizing claims, and by trusting our own intuition and discernment. Should we then weigh the evidence, apply logic, and consult others, even professionals, when we need help? And what of personal gnosis, that direct, personal experience of the divine or spiritual realm that transcends the limitations of dogma and doctrine? Is it not through these moments of direct connection, of unmediated insight, that we truly come to understand the nature of reality and our place within it? Personal gnosis can provide valuable insights that may not be found in books or historical texts, but it should always be balanced with critical thinking and ethical considerations. If we choose to build off those experiences and insights, then how do we move forward responsibly? But let us not forget the demonization of historical practices, the deliberate suppression of information, and the perpetuation of cultural biases that have shaped our understanding of the demonic for centuries, a process that can subtly influence our own perceptions and expectations. When the information available is limited, then how can one truly develop their own opinion? It is therefore incumbent upon us to challenge these ingrained prejudices, to question the narratives that have been handed down to us, and to seek a more nuanced and balanced understanding of the forces we are working with. It all comes down to accountability, acknowledging that we are responsible for our actions and for the consequences that flow from them. Consider how our understanding of the demonic is shaped by historical biases and misinformation, and then consider the potential for us to perpetuate these biases if we are not careful. As we seek to harness the power of these archetypes, then we must be mindful of the potential for harm, both to ourselves and to others, and commit ourselves to using this power wisely and ethically. But how might we ethically access these powers? Perhaps through the realm of dreams. Consider dream divination, a powerful tool for accessing the subconscious mind, for gaining insights into our inner selves, and for receiving guidance from the spiritual realm. Are not dreams the window into the unconscious, revealing hidden desires, suppressed fears, and unacknowledged motivations? By learning to interpret our dreams, can we not unlock a deeper understanding of our own patterns of behavior, identify unresolved conflicts, and make better decisions in our waking lives? Dream divination helps individuals to understand their own patterns of behavior, to identify unresolved conflicts, and to make better decisions. But how can we do it? The steps are simple, though not always easy. Create a calming bedtime routine. Keep a dream journal by the bed. Set a clear intention before falling asleep, and then record your dreams in as much detail as possible, paying attention to the symbols, characters, emotions, and settings that appear. Analyze these symbols using various resources, such as dream dictionaries, mythology, and personal associations, but remember that the most important interpretations are those that resonate with your own personal experience. But how can one apply sigils to this practice? The application of sigils can powerfully enhance the practice of dream divination. By meditating on a specific sigil before sleep, we can direct the focus of our subconscious mind, inviting the corresponding entity or archetype to interact with us in our dreams. Imagine, for instance, meditating on the sigil of Lucifer before sleep, intending to explore your shadow self and confront your hidden fears. Might not Lucifer appear in your dreams, not as a terrifying demon, but as a guide, a catalyst for self-discovery, a symbol of our drive toward knowledge? Dreams can powerfully inform demon practices, such as shadow work. But we must be vigilant, for even in the realm of dreams, there are ethical considerations to be addressed. Can dream walking be used as a tool for mind control, for manipulating the thoughts and feelings of others? We must always respect the free will of others, even in the dream world, and avoid any actions that could cause harm or violate their autonomy. What is the difference between guiding someone and planting suggestions in their head? Intent, as ever, is the key. It is vital that we adhere to safe practices in this arena, lest we open doors we cannot close. And what of night terrors, those terrifying experiences that can leave us shaken and disoriented? These experiences can often be triggered by unresolved emotional issues or by overstimulation of the subconscious mind. So, how do we keep ourselves safe? By grounding ourselves in the waking world through practices such as meditation and journaling, we can create a sense of stability and prevent ourselves from being overwhelmed by the darkness of the unconscious. This is why, as always, it's wise to proceed cautiously. What is the value of knowledge without wisdom? With this understanding in mind, we arrive at a synthesis, a recognition that these different views, the historical, the psychological, the ethical, are not mutually exclusive, but rather complementary facets of a larger whole. Historical information provides a valuable context for understanding the origins and evolution of these practices, while dream analysis offers a powerful tool for accessing the subconscious mind, while practices for safety and intent provide us with a way to navigate these realms responsibly. By integrating these different perspectives, we can create a more holistic and nuanced understanding of demon work and its potential for personal transformation. What then does it mean to truly connect to this work, to embrace the archetypal energies represented by the Decodic demons? It means taking responsibility for our actions, for our thoughts, and for our intentions. It means cultivating a spirit of intellectual humility, always seeking to learn and grow. It means embracing the light and the shadow, the good and the bad, and recognizing that both are essential parts of the human experience. As you strive to succeed, what will you take with you? But we're just scratching the surface. As we continue our exploration, we will delve even deeper into the integration of these seemingly disparate worlds, questioning whether the demons are merely archetypes of the unconscious mind or something more, and discussing how these techniques can be applied safely and ethically in various contexts. What awaits us next is a series of further case studies, where we will continue to explore the multifaceted nature of these complex entities and question how we might best utilize their energies for personal transformation. Having opened the doors to the subconscious through dream work and shadow integration, might we now turn our attention to the echoes of the past, the whispers of our ancestors, and the wisdom they may hold for us. Let us now turn our attention to Murmur, the Duke of the Decodic realm, traditionally depicted as a soldier riding a griffin, emphasizing his skill in philosophy and forcing the souls of the deceased to appear before the exorcist to answer any demanded question. But is that all there is to this spirit? What hidden potentials might lie beneath the surface of this formidable duke? What can we learn from his connection to the past? Murmur, as the grimoires describe, is a duke of the underworld, a commander of legions, and a master of necromancy, traditionally known for his skill in philosophy and the ability to summon the spirits of the dead to answer any question. A skill implying the ability to navigate the labyrinthine realms of history and extract valuable insights from the voices of the past. The grimoires paint a potent image, but what does it mean? His traditional association with knowledge of the past and the ability to summon the spirits of the dead suggests a deep connection to ancestral wisdom, an ability to tap into the collective unconscious and learn from the experiences of those who came before us. What if Murmur represents our inherent capacity to connect with our lineage and access the lessons of history, of triumph, of tragedy, of survival? The planetary correspondence of Murmur only serves to amplify the mystery, as he is associated with Scorpio and Pluto, linking him to the underworld, the occult, transformation, and hidden knowledge, all potent symbols of death, rebirth, and the exploration of the subconscious, implying the need for transformation and the constant cycle of decay and renewal. Scorpio, with its intense emotional depths, governs death, rebirth, and the exploration of the hidden realms of the psyche, while Pluto, the ruler of the underworld, represents the power of transformation through destruction and regeneration. Does this not paint a potent picture of the transformative power of ancestral connection, of the ability to confront our own mortality and embrace the cyclical nature of life. But what is the psychological significance of murmur, and how can we interpret his qualities in the context of personal growth and self-discovery? What if murmur represents the archetype of ancestral connection, the ability to learn from the past, and the courage to face our own mortality, an archetype that emphasizes the importance of honoring our lineage, integrating past experiences, and acknowledging our place in the grand tapestry of time? The ability to access the collective unconscious allows us to tap into a vast reservoir of knowledge, experiences, and archetypal patterns that shape our individual and collective identities. By working with murmur, could we not develop a deeper understanding of ourselves, our families, and our place in the world, recognizing our unique contributions to the ongoing saga of humanity? Analyzing murmur's sigil, we may discover visual representations of these themes of death, rebirth, and hidden knowledge, geometric patterns that hold within them the secrets of ancestral connection and the cyclical nature of time. Do the shapes within the sigil suggest interconnectedness, spirals, or a descent into the depths of the unconscious? Perhaps circular shapes represent the cyclical nature of time and the interconnectedness of generations, while serpentine lines may reflect the wisdom of the underworld and the hidden mysteries of the past. By meditating on this sigil, we can activate these qualities within ourselves, aligning our conscious mind with the archetypal forces that promote ancestral connection, historical understanding, and personal transformation. To further harness murmur's energy, let us explore practical applications for working with his archetype, exercises designed to connect us with our ancestors, to learn from the past, and to heal unresolved wounds. Genealogical research can be a powerful tool for understanding our family history, for uncovering hidden stories, and for connecting with the lives and experiences of those who came before us. What if we created an ancestral altar, a sacred space dedicated to honoring our lineage, where we can make offerings, light candles, and offer prayers of gratitude? What if we meditated, seeking guidance from the spirits of our ancestors, asking them to share their wisdom, their strength, and their love? Perhaps we could heal past wounds, break negative patterns, and create a more fulfilling future by harnessing murmur's energy, a potent tool for connection and understanding. But before we delve too deeply into the realm of ancestral connection and shadow work, we must pause to address a crucial concern, a potential danger that lurks beneath the surface of these practices: the misconception of shadow work as a form of self-diagnosis for mental health conditions. Is there a risk of pathologizing our experiences, of labeling ourselves with conditions that require professional help, of mistaking the normal range of human emotions for something more sinister? The rise of self-diagnosis through online resources has created a dangerous trend, and it's easy to misinterpret symptoms or apply labels without proper training and context. What ethical risks do we face when taking on conditions that require professional help, when attempting to diagnose and treat ourselves without the guidance of a licensed therapist? It is crucial to emphasize that shadow work, ancestral connection, and other esoteric practices are not replacements for professional mental health care, and in fact, practitioners should consult with licensed therapists on a regular basis while engaging in these techniques. Attempting to self-diagnose and treat mental health conditions can lead to inaccurate conclusions, harmful practices, and the neglect of serious underlying issues. Consider the potential consequences of misinterpreting symptoms, of applying labels that stigmatize and limit our understanding of ourselves, of attempting to treat conditions that require specialized expertise. Is it worth the risk? Might we offer alternate ways to view mental health, such as the social model of disability, which suggests that many conditions are not inherent flaws, but rather socially constructed differences that can be addressed by altering society? This perspective challenges the medical model, which focuses on individual pathology and seeks to cure or fix individuals. while instead the social model emphasizes the importance of creating inclusive environments, challenging discriminatory attitudes, and providing support and accommodations for those with diverse needs. Perhaps this is the true shadow work, altering our perceptions and embracing change. If esoteric practices are not for you, what safe practices for self-improvement are available? Countless resources can improve your mental health and lead to a more fulfilling life. Therapy, meditation, exercise, journaling, creative expression, and social connection, just to name a few, are each a path to self-discovery and healing, offering a safe and supportive environment for exploring our emotions, processing our experiences, and developing healthy coping mechanisms. It is important to remember that not all paths need to involve esoteric practices, and that there are many accessible and evidence-based approaches to personal growth and well-being. But where does the past fit in? Even so, the importance of connecting the past to the present, while also looking forward to the future, cannot be overstated, for it is through understanding our history, our traditions, and our cultural heritage that we gain a sense of identity, purpose, and belonging. By learning from the mistakes of the past, we can avoid repeating them in the future, and by celebrating the achievements of our ancestors, we can inspire ourselves to reach for greater heights. But how might we ethically contact our ancestors? How do we take the journey into the past in a way that is both safe and transformative? This is where imagination comes into play. Consider an active imagination ritual, a journey into the past guided by the sigil of murmur or that of a personal ancestor, an exercise in contacting and understanding. It is crucial to ensure a safe space, a clear goal, and a stable mental state before embarking on this journey. The goal is not to summon ghosts, but to explore our inner world, to connect with the archetypal energies of the past, and to gain insights into our own lives. But what practices can ensure safety and security during this process? If ancestral contact yields negative results, if it causes the practitioner to feel unsafe or overwhelmed, it is essential to have practices in place to break contact, to end the practice quickly and safely. Consider cord-cutting techniques, visualizations of energetic boundaries, and invocations of protective deities or spiritual forces. But above all, the most potent form of protection is knowledge. It is here that we must apply the Jungian principle of individuation, using shadow work as a tool for self-discovery, integration, and wholeness. The practice should inform the individual, revealing hidden aspects of the self, integrating them into our conscious awareness, and taking responsibility for our thoughts, feelings, and actions. This integration allows us to come closer to our truest selves. Even more detailed techniques for journaling or record keeping can help one measure success, to identify patterns, and to track progress over time. Is success measured by profound insights, emotional breakthroughs, or simply a sense of connection to the past? The goal is not to achieve some predefined outcome, but to engage in the process of exploration, to show up, to do the work, and to trust that the journey itself will yield valuable insights. It is important to remember that not every experience will provide great insights, and that is okay. The power lies in the dedication to show up, to engage with the process, to trust that even the smallest step can lead to profound transformation. What awaits you on the path? What can you see with the insights of the past? The destination is not nearly as important as the path itself, though we will continue to shed light on destinations as we proceed. Having established the transformative potential of connecting with our ancestral past, what insights might we gain by examining the deceptive depths of the human psyche? Let us now turn our attention to Amy, also known as Avnas, a president in the Gosha hierarchy, traditionally associated with knowledge of hidden treasures, skill in astrology, and the ability to reveal secrets. But is his power limited to deception and the unveiling of hidden truths? What if Amy holds a far more intricate significance? Tradition casts Amy as a formidable figure, initially appearing as a flaming fire before transforming into human form, an image that underscores the transformative nature of his knowledge, implying a potent ability to shift perspectives and reveal hidden realities. The grimoires detail his association with making one wonderful in astrology and liberal sciences, implying intellectual prowess and the unveiling of cosmic patterns. But what does this truly signify? What if this ability to manipulate form and reveal secrets extends beyond mere trickery, hinting at a deeper understanding of the human psyche and the deceptive nature of reality itself? Amy's possible association with Uranus and/or Neptune further enriches his symbolism, connecting him to the qualities of insight, the power of the mind, breaking conventional limitations, and a deeper understanding of the self. How might these planetary connections illuminate Amy's true purpose? Uranus, the planet of innovation and rebellion, governs intuition, imagination, and the ability to see beyond the surface, while Neptune, the planet of dreams and illusions, represents the potential to transcend the mundane and access profound understanding. What if Amy embodies the potential to break free from self-imposed limitations and access a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us? But what is the psychological significance of Amy, and how can we interpret his qualities in the context of personal growth and self-discovery? What if Amy represents the archetype of hidden potential, the need for brutal honesty, and the ability to access that potential, an archetype that emphasizes the importance of self-awareness, authenticity, and the courage to confront one's shadow self? Understanding deception, both external and internal, becomes a necessity for true progress. The initial form as a flame symbolizes the need to burn away old ideas and self-deceptions. The work with Amy allows for developing a keen sense of discernment and ethical guidance, as well as the strength to confront our inner demons. Could it be that Amy's flame is meant to cauterize the wounds caused by our own self-deceit? Analyzing Amy's sigil, we may discover visual representations of these themes of hidden knowledge, transformation, and the revelation of secrets, geometric patterns that hold within them the keys to unlocking our hidden potential and confronting our inner deceptions. Do the intersecting lines suggest the interplay of conscious and unconscious forces, a constant negotiation between our hidden selves and our performed identities? Do the asymmetrical shapes reflect the imbalance and distortion inherent in deception, reminding us of the need for self-awareness and authenticity? By meditating on this sigil, we can activate these qualities within ourselves, aligning our conscious mind with the archetypal forces that promote self-honesty, critical thinking, and personal transformation. To further harness Amy's energy, let us explore practical applications for working with his archetype, exercises designed to uncover hidden aspects of our personality, to develop critical thinking skills, and to make more authentic choices. Journaling, meditation, and shadow work exercises can be powerful tools for uncovering hidden aspects of the personality, revealing repressed emotions, limiting beliefs, and self-deceptive patterns. Consider a meditation practice to confront your own capacity for deception and to cultivate authenticity, sitting in silence, visualizing Amy's sigil, and asking for guidance in recognizing your own self-deceptions. Practicing skeptical thinking and media literacy can help you develop a more discerning perspective, questioning assumptions, and identifying logical fallacies. Can you harness Amy's energy to uncover hidden truths in your life, both external and internal, to make more authentic choices? But as we continue our work with these powerful forces, let us pause to consider the ever-present danger of psychological projection, an unconscious act of attributing one's own unacceptable thoughts, feelings, or motives to another person or entity, a common human tendency that can distort our perception of reality. How can we avoid projecting our own inner demons onto the spirits we work with, ensuring that we are engaging with them authentically and responsibly? A person who is habitually dishonest might accuse others of lying, projecting their own deceitful tendencies onto those around them, leading to misunderstandings, conflicts, and harmful judgments. Might this not also hold true in demon work? Projection can easily manifest in demon work, distorting our experiences and clouding our judgment, a dangerous influence when working with forces believed to have the power to influence our lives. What happens when we project our own repressed anger onto a demon, leading to an exaggerated perception of its malevolence, amplifying our fears, and creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of negativity? What if we project our own desire for power onto a demon, leading to an inflated sense of our own abilities and importance, blinding us to our limitations and leading us down a path of arrogance and self-destruction? Consider historical examples of demonolatry, where individuals attributed their own failings and desires to demonic forces, absolving themselves of responsibility and perpetuating harmful stereotypes. But here's what most people miss. Projection isn't always negative. What if we could use projection to empower others, to see the best in them, and to inspire them to reach their full potential? What if, by projecting positive qualities onto others, we could help them to believe in themselves, to overcome their limitations, and to achieve greatness? When we project our belief in their abilities, our admiration for their strengths, and our love for their inherent worth, we can create a self-fulfilling prophecy of success and fulfillment. So what if you are on the receiving end of positive projection? How do you respond? If one is on the receiving end of positive projection, it's essential to recognize it for what it is, a gift of belief and encouragement, and to use it as fuel for personal growth. Acknowledge the positive qualities that others see in you, even if you don't fully see them in yourself, and strive to embody those qualities to the best of your ability. But be cautious not to become dependent on external validation, and maintain a sense of self-awareness and authenticity. Strive to meet and exceed the expectations of others, not out of a desire for approval, but out of a commitment to your own growth and development. This then begs the question, what other subconscious avenues might we tap to better understand ourselves? As we seek to understand ourselves, let us now turn to dream incubation, a focused practice for consciously influencing the content of one's dreams, emphasizing its potential for gaining insight, guidance, and healing. Can we use dream incubation as a tool for communicating with Amy, for seeking his guidance in uncovering hidden truths and integrating our shadow selves? Dream incubation involves setting a clear intention before falling asleep and creating a conducive sleep environment, transforming our nightly slumber into a potent tool for self-discovery. By focusing our intent, we might seek answers to specific questions, resolve inner conflicts, or connect with spiritual forces. Let us imagine what that practice might involve. To begin, select an appropriate time and location for the ritual, a quiet and comfortable space where you will not be disturbed, ensuring a safe and conducive environment for exploring the depths of your subconscious. Cleanse the space and set up an altar with relevant symbols and offerings, Amy's sigil, a candle, and a journal for recording your dreams, creating a focal point for your intention and a connection to the archetypal energy you wish to invoke. Recite affirmations or incantations to invoke the desired energy or entity, clearly stating your intention for the dream incubation and inviting Amy to guide you in uncovering hidden truths and integrating your shadow self. But what should you do if the experience becomes too intense, if the dream becomes overwhelming or frightening? In such instances, it's essential to have practices in place to break contact, to end the practice quickly and safely. Visualize a protective barrier surrounding you, invoke a protective deity or spiritual force, or simply wake yourself up by moving your body or opening your eyes. Should an individual embark on such a ritual, it is essential that they come up with a specific goal or question to inform the ritual's aim. Frame specific goals related to safety, growth, and understanding, ensuring that your intention is aligned with your highest good. After experiencing the dream, how might you process the results? Upon awakening, record your dream in detail, capturing every image, emotion, and symbol that you can recall, providing valuable insights into your subconscious mind. Meditate on the dream, reflecting on its meaning and significance, seeking to understand the messages that your subconscious is trying to communicate. Consult with others, sharing your dream with a trusted friend or therapist for additional perspectives and insights. Use other divinatory practices, such as tarot or astrology, to analyze the dream's symbolism and to gain a deeper understanding of its meaning. Finally, discern whether the results have brought about the original intent, whether you have gained the insight, guidance, or healing that you sought, and adjust your practices accordingly. As we can see, there are various ways to unlock the mysteries within. Having explored the depths of our subconscious through dream incubation with Amy, what avenues might we explore to ground these revelations into tangible skills and practices? Let us now turn to Marbaz, a president in the Gosha hierarchy, traditionally associated with skill in the mechanical arts, answering questions truthfully and transforming shapes, emphasizing the power of understanding, skill, and ingenuity. But does Marbaz simply grant us these skills, or does he reveal to us the path we must tread to acquire them ourselves? The grimoires detail Marbaz's initial appearance as a great lion, a symbol of strength and courage, before transforming into human form at the request of the exorcist, underscoring the adaptive and transformative nature of his knowledge. This act alone suggests that true knowledge requires us to embrace both our primal instincts and our rational minds. Moreover, consider his ability to discover hidden or secret things and his skill in the mechanical arts, which is crucial for gaining a deeper knowledge of the material world. Could it be that this skill in mechanics also symbolizes the art of fine-tuning our internal mechanisms and re-engineering our lives? Marbaz's association with the element Earth and the zodiac sign of Virgo connects him to the qualities of groundedness, practicality, precision, and analytical skill, qualities essential for mastering any craft. The element Earth governs the material world, stability, and tangible results, reminding us that true skill requires a solid foundation of knowledge and experience. And the zodiac sign of Virgo, known for its analytical mind and attention to detail, embodies the precision and diligence needed to transform raw materials into something valuable. How does the quality of transformation tie to the attainment of skillful mastery? Could it be that mastery is simply the byproduct of refined, practiced, skillful living? Psychologically, Marbaz can be interpreted as an archetype of technical skill, the ability to solve problems practically, and the transformation of raw materials into something valuable, emphasizing the importance of learning, training, and applying knowledge. Consider the dedication and discipline required to master a craft, the countless hours of practice and refinement needed to transform raw talent into honed skill. What if Marbaz represents the burning desire for the student to exceed the teacher, to surpass all previous limits and unlock new levels of mastery? Ultimately, might Marbaz represent our ability to see truth in all things, and that truth may be expressed through the work of our own hands. Analyzing Marbaz's sigil, we might find reflections of these themes of knowledge, skill, and transformation, geometric patterns that suggest stability, precision, or hidden structures. Could the sigil mirror blueprint patterns used in engineering, suggesting the methodical and structured approach required for technical mastery? Or do the solid shapes suggest the element of earth, further reinforcing the importance of groundedness and practicality? By meditating on this sigil, we might access the archetypal forces that promote skill development, problem solving, and the transformation of raw materials into refined creations. To further harness Marbaz's energy, let us explore practical exercises for working with his archetype, exercises designed to enhance focus, memory, and technical ability to learn new skills and to create meaningful contributions to the world. A dedicated meditation practice can help enhance focus and memory, clearing the mind of distractions and sharpening our ability to concentrate on the task at hand. Taking classes or workshops can provide structured learning environments and expert guidance, accelerating our skill development and expanding our knowledge base. How might we harness Marbaz's energy to excel in our chosen fields, to solve complex problems, and to create meaningful contributions to the world? But the acquisition of skills is not merely about technical proficiency. It also requires an unwavering clarity of purpose. We must emphasize the critical role of intention in this work, clarifying that the practitioner needs to possess an unwavering focus, an alignment between one's conscious desires and unconscious motivations. What is the impact of conflicting intent, and how might it hinder our progress? When our conscious desires are at odds with our unconscious motivations, our efforts become fragmented, our energy dissipates, and our progress grinds to a halt. It is only when we align our inner and outer selves that we can truly unleash our full potential. A strong intention should be well-defined, realistic, and attainable, guiding our energies like a compass. Further, strong intentions should also be aligned with our moral and personal values, ensuring that our actions are in harmony with our highest aspirations. In this way, we find that intention acts as a compass that guides one's energies, helping us maintain unwavering focus and overcome distractions. When we have a clear and compelling vision of what we want to achieve, we are less likely to be swayed by momentary temptations or fleeting impulses. But how can we achieve these things without dominating the will of others? That is a valid question. Intent, as it exists in the esoteric sense, is not an external force used to subjugate others, but an internal drive. When harnessed responsibly, our will and desire can be intertwined to create a goal, fueling our journey with passion and determination. Yet, the journey itself can often change our intent. Might our initial goals evolve as we learn and grow, prompting us to refine our intentions and adapt our strategies? Ultimately, might the key to success lie not in rigidly adhering to our original plan, but in remaining open to new possibilities and allowing our intentions to be shaped by experience. Having cultivated both skill and intention, what methodologies might we now apply to discern genuine insights from mere projections or wishful thinking? Let us now turn to the concept of dream validation, detailing techniques to measure the success of a dream incubation divination ritual, designed to discern whether the images were authentic and useful, or simply a reflection of conscious desires. To achieve this, we need a structured, organized approach for connecting conscious intent with the unconscious, seeking findings that offer new perspectives. But how does one test dream findings? To validate a dream's insights, one might employ the scientific method, carefully analyzing the merit of the findings. Formulate a hypothesis based on the dream's symbolism. Design an experiment to test the hypothesis, gather data, and analyze the results, refining your interpretation accordingly. This approach encourages critical thinking and helps to separate genuine insights from wishful thinking. It can be difficult to extract meaning from a single experience, but with many experiences, themes can be found. How might one analyze patterns that emerge across multiple dreams, identifying recurring symbols, emotions, or narratives that reveal deeper psychological or spiritual truths? When embarking on this analysis, let us consider the ethical implications. Is it ethical to perform dream analysis of others? When might it be permissible, and when is it out of bounds? Analyzing the dreams of others without their explicit consent is a violation of their privacy and autonomy. It is only permissible when the individual has given informed consent and is actively seeking guidance or support. Even then, it is essential to maintain professional boundaries and to avoid imposing one's own interpretations or beliefs. What practices will allow us to facilitate truthful feedback? To facilitate truthful feedback, create a safe and supportive environment where individuals feel comfortable sharing their dreams and exploring their meanings without fear of judgment or ridicule. Use open-ended questions to encourage exploration and self-discovery and avoid imposing your own interpretations or beliefs. Focus on helping individuals to identify their own insights and to draw their own conclusions, empowering them to take ownership of their journey of self-discovery. As we have seen, there are endless paths to self-discovery and mastery, but can resourcefulness truly exist without the potential for exploitation? Let us now turn to Vælfor, traditionally known as a duke, thief, and associated with resourcefulness, cunning, and the ability to acquire what one needs, emphasizing both the positive and negative connotations of this duality, and perhaps challenging our preconceived notions of good and evil. But is Vælfor truly a demon of theft, or a symbolic representation of our own capacity for ingenuity and the acquisition of hidden resources? Vælfor's description in the Gosha paints a picture of a spirit both helpful and untrustworthy, capable of leading one to stolen goods, yet prone to ensnaring the conjurer in deceit. His traditional depiction as a lion with the head of a man or a donkey further underscores this dual nature, the lion representing strength and courage, the man intellect and cunning, and the donkey a symbol of stubbornness and foolishness. Consider the implications of this composite form. Does it suggest that true resourcefulness requires a delicate balance between these qualities, a blend of strength, intellect, and perhaps even a touch of calculated foolishness? Perhaps even more telling is Vælfor's possible association with Mercury, or perhaps a malefic Mercury, connecting it to the qualities of communication, skill, and the ability to navigate complex situations, offering a deeper understanding of his perceived thievery. Mercury, the swift-footed messenger of the gods, governs trade, commerce, and the acquisition of information, embodying both the ingenuity needed to seize opportunities and the potential for dishonesty and manipulation. What if Vælfor represents the shadow side of Mercury, the cunning trickster who uses his intellect for personal gain, blurring the lines between legitimate enterprise and outright deception? Does this tell us something about the potential for ingenuity to be used for both good and ill? Psychologically, Vælfor can be interpreted as an archetype of resourcefulness, the ability to identify and seize opportunities, and the courage to take risks, emphasizing the importance of adaptability, strategic thinking, and ethical decision-making, challenging us to examine the moral implications of our ambitions. Connect Vælfor to the entrepreneurial spirit, to the drive to innovate and create, the ability to thrive in competitive environments, where the stakes are high and the rewards are great. What if working with Vælfor allows us to develop confidence, resilience, and the ability to overcome obstacles, to tap into our inner reserves of ingenuity and determination? Can his thievery be related to the pursuit of one's desires, especially in the face of adversity, to the willingness to bend the rules and challenge the status quo? Analyzing Vælfor's sigil, we find reflections of these themes of resourcefulness, cunning, and the acquisition of hidden resources, geometric patterns that suggest movement, adaptation, or hidden pathways, revealing deeper insights into his nature. Perhaps arrow-like shapes suggest the ability to move quickly and decisively, to seize opportunities before they vanish, or asymmetrical shapes reflect the unbalanced nature of manipulation, the willingness to distort the truth for personal gain. By meditating on this sigil, we might access the archetypal forces that promote resourcefulness, strategic thinking, and the ability to navigate complex situations, tapping into our inner reserves of cunning and adaptability. To further harness Vælfor's energy, let us explore practical exercises for working with his archetype, exercises designed to enhance our ability to identify opportunities, assess risks, and make ethical decisions, offering us a pathway to responsible action. Brainstorming exercises can help us to identify hidden opportunities, to see possibilities where others see only obstacles, while risk assessment techniques can help us to evaluate potential outcomes, to weigh the rewards against the risks. Ethical decision-making frameworks can help us to ensure responsible action, to navigate the gray areas of ambition with integrity and compassion. Ultimately, how might we harness Velfa's energy to achieve financial success, to advance in a career, or to pursue personal goals with greater effectiveness, while remaining true to our values and respecting the rights of others? Having explored the depths of traditionally defined demons, must we forever limit ourselves to these pre-existing archetypes? Let us now turn to the idea of creating one's own personal demons, based on individual weaknesses, challenges, or shadow aspects that one wishes to confront and integrate, challenging the limitations of the traditional Godic hierarchy and offering a pathway to personalized shadow work. But how can one create such a personalized entity, and what purpose would it serve? One might identify a recurring negative pattern in their life, such as procrastination, self-doubt, or fear of failure, and create a corresponding demon to represent that pattern, giving it a name, a sigil, and a set of attributes that reflect its nature. This approach allows for a more personalized and relevant exploration of the unconscious mind, a deeper understanding of the specific forces that hold us back from achieving our full potential. Imagine a demon of self-sabotage, whispering insidious doubts and undermining our confidence, or a demon of addiction, luring us into destructive patterns of behavior. By confronting these inner demons, we can gain greater self-awareness and develop more effective coping mechanisms. To conceptualize these personal demons, one must ask several key questions. What traits should the demon possess, reflecting the specific qualities of the negative pattern? What is its goal, the underlying motivation that drives its destructive behavior? How can it be summoned or contacted? Through meditation, visualization, or ritual? What can it offer? The short-term gratification or illusory benefit that it provides? It might also be helpful to create a physical representation of the demon, a drawing, a sculpture, or a piece of writing that embodies its essence. The traits must be something real, something that is based on reality. To create the sigils for these personalized demons, one must allow them to derive organically from what the demon represents, embodying its essence in a visual form. Use geometric patterns, symbolic imagery, and personal associations to create a sigil that resonates with the demon's energy, a visual key that unlocks its power. Meditate on the demon's qualities, its motivations, and its impact on your life, allowing the sigil to emerge from your subconscious mind. The sigil should be both aesthetically pleasing and deeply meaningful, a reflection of the complex interplay between your conscious and unconscious mind. With these personalized demons, intentions, goals, and practices must be transparent and clearly stated. These personalized demons can help us to confront our shadow selves, to integrate our repressed emotions, and to develop greater self-awareness. They can serve as powerful tools for personal transformation, helping us to break free from destructive patterns and to live more authentic and fulfilling lives. By acknowledging and embracing our inner demons, we can harness their energy for positive change, transforming our weaknesses into strengths. However, it is essential to maintain safe practices for contact, for these personalized demons are ultimately aspects of ourselves, reflections of our own inner landscape. As we embark on this journey of self-discovery, is it not paramount to approach these personal practices with both respect and caution? Let's now summarize key concepts from previous sections, briefly recapping the core concepts and techniques discussed throughout the video, including historical context, psychological interpretations, sigil work, dream divination, and ethical considerations, to ensure a safe and productive exploration. How can we integrate these disparate elements into a unified framework for Godic practice? Remember the importance of approaching demon work with respect, responsibility, and a clear understanding of one's own motivations and limitations, of acknowledging the potential for both good and ill, and of acting with integrity and compassion. Reiterate the importance of integrating shadow aspects, challenging limiting beliefs, and cultivating ethical behavior, of striving for balance and harmony in all aspects of our lives. It is by synthesizing these practices that you achieve your goals in the safest way possible. In creating this unified framework, a starting point with a clear intention, identifying a specific demon or shadow aspect to explore, creating a personalized ritual or meditation practice, and tracking one's experiences in a journal is required. Emphasizing the importance of ongoing self-reflection and adaptation, adjusting one's practice as needed to achieve optimal results, to remain open to new insights and perspectives. But what happens if this solo work proves insufficient, if the shadows refuse to yield? Sometimes, solo work isn't enough, and it becomes necessary to seek professional guidance. A therapist, counselor, or experienced spiritual advisor can provide valuable support and insights, helping us to navigate the complexities of our inner world. They can offer a safe and non-judgmental space to explore our shadows, to challenge our limiting beliefs, and to develop more effective coping mechanisms. Remember, seeking external help is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength and self-awareness. But this must not overshadow a need for ethical action. Finally, highlight the need for ethical action, for remaining true to our values and respecting the rights of others, even when confronted with difficult choices. Remind ourselves that the pursuit of personal growth should never come at the expense of another's well-being, that true power lies not in domination, but in compassion and service. Where do we go from here? In our final journey, we will explore where we take our understanding of shadow work and apply it to our daily lives. Join us, won't you? But can we find these trickster spirits in our modern world, manipulating information and spreading disinformation? Reconnecting with the archetype of Amy, the demon of trickery and secrets, let us turn our attention to the pervasive phenomenon of modern disinformation campaigns and the relentless spread of fake news, framing this as an exploration of how these ancient forces manifest in our hyper-connected digital age. Can Amy's qualities be discerned in the manipulation of online narratives, the strategic deployment of propaganda, and the insidious creation of echo chambers that reinforce pre-existing biases? Consider, for instance, how Amy's deceptive nature might be reflected in the psychological tactics employed by purveyors of fake news. These tactics often involve appealing directly to emotions, exploiting cognitive biases, and creating a false sense of urgency, all designed to bypass critical thinking and cloud rational judgment. The deliberate construction of emotionally charged narratives, the selective presentation of evidence, and the use of emotionally manipulative language can all be seen as manifestations of Amy's influence in the digital realm. But is it enough to simply identify these tactics, or must we delve deeper into the mechanisms by which they operate and the vulnerabilities they exploit? Investigating the role of social media, we find a powerful catalyst for the spread of fake news, a fertile ground where Amy's qualities can easily proliferate virally, often with no context of responsibility or accountability. The algorithms that govern social media platforms often prioritize engagement over accuracy, amplifying emotionally charged content, regardless of its veracity, and creating filter bubbles that reinforce existing beliefs and limit exposure to dissenting viewpoints. Explore, if you will, the prevalence of shadow rhetoric on social media, where deceptive language, manipulative framing, and outright falsehoods are used to sway public opinion and undermine effective communication. But is this shadow rhetoric simply a reflection of human nature, or is it a deliberate and calculated strategy employed by those seeking to manipulate the masses? Consider the current examples of viral fake news, particularly those that exploit individual fears and anxieties, spreading rapidly through social media channels, often targeting vulnerable populations with disinformation designed to sow division and discord. The deliberate misrepresentation of scientific findings, the promotion of conspiracy theories, and the propagation of false narratives about political events can all be seen as manifestations of Amy's influence in the digital realm. But what practical steps can we take to guard against these deceptive forces, to protect ourselves from the manipulative influence of fake news? To defend against these deceptive forces, we must cultivate critical thinking skills, enhance our media literacy, and commit to verifying information from multiple sources, engaging in a constant process of questioning, analyzing, and evaluating the information that we encounter. Seek out reliable fact-checking resources such as Snopes, PolitiFact, and the Associated Press to verify the accuracy of claims and identify potential disinformation. But how can we apply the very traits of Amy, the demon of trickery and secrets, to extract ourselves from the web of deception, to turn his manipulative skills against those who seek to deceive us? In applying the traits of Amy, we might learn to identify the hidden agendas and manipulative tactics employed by purveyors of fake news, using their own methods against them to expose their deceptions and protect ourselves from their influence. We must consider the ethical considerations that arise when engaging with online information, asking ourselves what moral code should guide our actions and what steps we should take when we encounter misinformation. But what actions should we take when we encounter misinformation, and what responsibility do we have to correct it? The ethical implementation of these strategies requires us to consider the potential consequences of our actions, to weigh the benefits of exposing misinformation against the risks of amplifying it or contributing to the spread of disinformation. We must strive to act with integrity, honesty, and compassion, seeking to promote truth and understanding while respecting the rights and dignity of others. Having turned this analysis on the outside world, let us now turn inward. Steering away from the traditional view of the Lesser Key of Solomon as simply a demon summoning guide, let us discuss how its teachings can be applied in a contemporary context as a powerful self-help guide, allowing individuals to tap into hidden potential and unlock pathways to personal growth. But can these demons, traditionally seen as malevolent entities, be reinterpreted as psychological mirrors, reflecting our own shadow aspects and providing opportunities for self-exploration and integration? How does this compare to modern talk therapy, and can the ancient wisdom of the Gosha offer insights that are not readily available through conventional therapeutic approaches? Indeed, the framework of this work can allow us to access shadow traits, to confront the repressed emotions, limiting beliefs, and destructive patterns of behavior that hold us back from achieving our full potential. By identifying and engaging with these shadow aspects, we can gain greater self-awareness, develop more effective coping mechanisms, and transform our weaknesses into strengths. But is it simply enough to identify these weaknesses, or must we also understand how to change them, to integrate them into our conscious awareness, and harness their energy for positive change? How can each of the demons help in this process, serving as guides, catalysts, and allies in our journey of self-discovery? Each demon embodies a particular set of qualities, both positive and negative, that can be used as a mirror to reflect our own strengths and weaknesses, our own potential and limitations. By studying the attributes and correspondences of each demon, we can gain deeper insights into our own psyche, identifying the aspects of ourselves that we have repressed, denied, or projected onto others. How can we use these insights to develop greater self-acceptance, compassion, and understanding, to embrace our shadow selves and integrate them into our conscious awareness? But it is essential to approach these practices with caution, to establish clear boundaries, and to maintain a framework for ethical usage, ensuring that our exploration of the shadow self does not lead to destructive or harmful behavior. How can we ensure success with these new practices, and how can we ensure a safe removal from these practices, preventing ourselves from falling under the sway of negative influences or becoming trapped in destructive patterns? The key lies in maintaining a clear intention, a strong ethical foundation, and a commitment to personal growth and self-improvement. And with this in mind, let us approach this call to action. Encouraging listeners to explore and begin their journeys, it is worth emphasizing that this is only the beginning, and to truly understand the applications, you must act. But are there modern adaptations and innovations in Godic practice that can further enhance our understanding and application of these ancient teachings? Introducing the listener to a wide variety of modern changes in approach, let's account for the intersection of demonolatry and modern approaches, and how this aligns with our reinterpretation of demons as psychological forces, and how we can take a new approach. How does the tarot, with its rich symbolism and archetypal imagery, interplay with this, offering a powerful tool for self-reflection and divination? How can astrology, with its mapping of planetary influences and cosmic energies, be combined with these efforts to gain deeper insights into our own personalities and destinies? But are there technological innovations that can further enhance our practice, accounting for modern innovations, including smartphone apps, online communities, and digital tools that can help us to connect with the energies of the Godic demons? Joining demon-positive social media circles can provide valuable support, encouragement, and insights, connecting us with a community of like-minded seekers who share our interest in exploring the shadow self and unlocking our full potential. What are some good applications for learning the various sigils, using digital tools to enhance our understanding and memorization of these powerful symbols? Considering creative expression, we must suggest the idea of using more artistic channels with the practice to help facilitate new connections with the demons, allowing us to tap into our intuition, imagination, and emotional intelligence, and to express our experiences in unique and meaningful ways. How can we use music, with its ability to evoke powerful emotions and alter states of consciousness, to connect with the energies of the Godic demons and to express our inner selves? How can we use dance, with its ability to embody and express our physical and emotional states, to connect with the energies of the Godic demons and to release pent-up emotions? However, we must ensure that all the information that has been presented can be used to ensure practices are above board, aligning our actions with our values and respecting the rights and dignity of others. But how can we ensure that our exploration of the shadow self does not lead to harmful or destructive behavior, that our pursuit of personal growth does not come at the expense of others? The key lies in maintaining a clear intention, a strong ethical foundation, and a commitment to personal responsibility. Returning to the initial question of what the Lesser Key of Solomon truly is, let us summarize the historical journey, symbolic decoding, psychological insights, and practical applications discussed throughout the video, to present a final and more nuanced perspective. Is it not more than just a medieval demon summoning manual, a complex system for self-exploration and personal transformation, a repository of ancient wisdom that can guide us on our journey of self-discovery? And what can we say about the book's most likely origin, the collaborative effort of multiple authors over centuries, each contributing their own perspectives and insights to create a living document that continues to evolve and adapt to the needs of contemporary seekers? Emphasizing the value of open-minded inquiry, we should underscore that the most important goal is to view these concepts in an open-minded way, to challenge our assumptions, to question our beliefs, and to remain open to new insights and perspectives. But is it not by embracing this spirit of intellectual curiosity that we can truly unlock the hidden wisdom of the Lesser Key of Solomon and apply its teachings to our own lives? The goal is self-transformation, to cultivate the very traits that these practices should espouse, relating back to the many demons we have discussed, including strength, honesty, humility, and integrity. By embodying these qualities, we can become more authentic, compassionate, and empowered individuals, living our lives with greater purpose, passion, and fulfillment. But what does a future look like? And how can we embrace this demon practice into society to facilitate a global self-help effort, creating a world where individuals are empowered to confront their inner demons, to heal their emotional wounds, and to unlock their full potential. In painting this picture of the future, we can envision a world where the ancient wisdom of the Lesser Key of Solomon is used as a tool for personal and collective transformation, where individuals are empowered to confront their shadow selves, to integrate their repressed emotions, and to live more authentic and fulfilling lives. But are the origins of this work shrouded in even deeper history? As we draw near the end of our exploration, having journeyed through the intricate realms of Godic magic and delved into the historical, symbolic, and psychological dimensions of the Lesser Key of Solomon, let us consolidate our insights and arrive at a final reckoning. We have traversed a landscape rich with ancient wisdom, complex symbolism, and profound implications for personal transformation, from its contested origins and through its modern reinterpretations. As such, what conclusions can we come to, and how can we make use of them? Throughout our exploration, a central theme has emerged: the reinterpretation of the Lesser Key of Solomon as a potent tool for self-exploration and shadow integration, rather than a mere manual for conjuring external entities. We have seen how the demons, traditionally perceived as malevolent forces, can be understood as symbolic representations of the diverse and often conflicting aspects of the human psyche. We have illuminated how each demon embodies a specific set of qualities, both positive and negative, that can serve as a mirror for reflecting our own strengths and weaknesses, our own potential and limitations, acting as an invaluable means of coming to know ourselves. In so doing, we have provided tools for shadow work that anyone can use, regardless of whether they believe the demons of the Gosha are external entities or symbolic personifications of the subconscious. Returning to the initial questions that guided our inquiry, we can now appreciate the profound significance of the Lesser Key of Solomon as a work that transcends its historical context and speaks to universal themes of human nature, consciousness, and the quest for self-mastery. The mystery surrounding its authorship remains, a testament to the collaborative and evolutionary nature of esoteric traditions, yet we can now understand the key influences that shaped its creation, from Kabbalistic symbolism to Renaissance magic. The question of whether demons are real entities or psychological archetypes remains open to interpretation, but we have demonstrated the value of the psychological model as a framework for understanding and integrating the shadow self, leading to greater self-awareness, personal power, and psychological wholeness. The implications of our exploration extend far beyond the specific context of the Lesser Key of Solomon, reaching into the realms of modern psychology, shadow work, and the responsible exercise of free will. We have seen how the principles of shadow integration can be applied to address shadow rhetoric in the modern world, to cultivate critical thinking skills, and to promote ethical communication in an age of disinformation. We have seen how the practice of dream divination can unlock our intuition, creativity, and access to the unconscious mind, providing insights into our deepest desires and fears. What then remains unresolved? Through this exploration, we have gained a deeper appreciation for the Lesser Key of Solomon as not just a historical artifact, but as a living tradition that can be adapted and reinterpreted for modern use, its meaning continuing to evolve over time. We can now appreciate the significance of the collective knowledge of a long succession of occultists who contributed to its creation, each adding their own unique perspectives and insights to create a work that reflects the diversity and complexity of human experience. While a definitive answer to the identity of the original author or authors may remain elusive, the significance of the individual contributors and their unique viewpoints cannot be denied, a confluence of minds whose efforts have transcended the ages. As we have seen, the power of belief is a potent force, whether one literally believes in demons as external entities or understands them as symbolic representations of the unconscious mind. The very act of engaging with this system, of attempting to harness its energies for personal transformation, is an act of faith, a testament to the human capacity for self-improvement and spiritual growth. Studies have shown the placebo effect to be a powerful phenomenon, with individuals experiencing tangible benefits from treatments they believe to be effective, regardless of their objective efficacy. Affirming the psychological model, we can confidently state that even if demons are not literal entities, the system provides a powerful framework for understanding the self, for confronting our shadow aspects, and for unlocking our hidden potential. The sigils, invocations, and rituals of the Lesser Key of Solomon can be used as tools for meditation, self-reflection, and psychological integration, helping us to identify and transform our limiting beliefs, repressed emotions, and destructive patterns of behavior. But how can we ensure that the practice of Luciferianism does not itself fall into destructive patterns of behavior? We must warn against the potential dangers of misinterpreting the Luciferian philosophy as a justification for selfishness, violence, or the rejection of all moral values, emphasizing the importance of ethical responsibility in all our actions. There are those who would suggest that it is appropriate to embrace one's dark side without ethics, to indulge in our desires without regard for the consequences, and to reject all external authority in the pursuit of personal power. However, Luciferians must always be mindful of the impact of their actions on others, and they should never use their freedom or knowledge to harm or exploit anyone. It is in this light that we must emphasize responsible practice. To ensure the practitioner is acting ethically, we must prioritize practices that promote self-awareness, compassion, and respect for the rights and dignity of others. Techniques for ensuring safe contact with the energies of the Decodic demons include establishing clear boundaries, maintaining a strong ethical foundation, and committing to personal growth and self-improvement. The positive potential of free will, however, cannot be denied. A Luciferian view does promote the possibility of success, enlightenment, and freedom, and although this path is not for everyone, it can bring power to some. Ultimately, it all comes down to the power of self-discovery and personal transformation. The key to unlocking your true potential lies within, in your willingness to confront your inner demons, to integrate your shadow self, and to embrace the full spectrum of your human experience. So, what is your call to action? Continue exploring the topic on your own, delve deeper into the history, symbolism, and psychological implications of the Lesser Key of Solomon, and discover for yourself the transformative power of this ancient and enduring tradition. If whispers from beyond have stirred the ember of curiosity within you, like the video and continue on this enigmatic journey by subscribing to Vox Culta. Share your thoughts, fellow mystic, if you want to delve deeper into the world of ancient wisdom and esotericism. Until next time, continue to seek out the light and to fan the flame.